Playing, but the crowd is not moved.
What a great intro to this. Welcome.
Yep, welcome in, everyone.
Welcome to the Dwarven Axe, quarter 3.
Is your mic on? Is my mic on?
Mine's on.
Mine's not. Oh, God.
Oh,
no.
It's
There
our
we go. There we go.
just beginners.
Yeah.
What do we do?
It's like we've never done this before. So, anyway. Hello and welcome to quarter 3 of 2025 Dwarven Axe here at Excalibur Con.
First time.
First time here. And but it's been fantastic. We're joined today by a third panelist, David.
Hello. Good to see you guys.
Thank you for coming in and driving all this way up.
Yeah.
Suffering the rain.
It's good hanging out with you guys this week, and my wife and I have enjoyed Duluth too, even though it was a bit soggy, but good experience all the way around. Good food. Good
It's
people.
really good
Definitely
food.
good
That's
food.
the problem. Anytime I come to Duluth, I gain like 16 pounds. It's the worst. Let's see here. First and foremost, sponsors. Got to get those out of the way,
Yes.
right? Sponsored by, of course, The Forge. Thank you so much to The Forge down in Chaska for sponsoring Dwarven Axe, as always. Secondly, the Monument Hobbies for
Yep.
donating prize support for this quarter's event. So that's really cool. We had a full base paint set
Yep.
donated and gift cards to that for the winners. So that's always a good time to
Oh,
be
yeah.
able to hand out. And then Excalibur Con for hosting us and having us here.
Things have been going over very well here.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been really excited about a painting competition actually being part of this convention. So
Yeah. Lots of hey, I didn't realize there was a painting competition. Then then
All that
I'll bring my
jazz.
stuff next time. We heard that a lot. But in total, we had what, 37 entries?
37 entries,
37 entries, so
should be pretty good.
but
Good spread.
Yeah, good spread, good times. But first and foremost, because we got David here, and he's going to be sitting with us for a little bit until he has to bail on us. He hates us. I understand. It's a long drive home. But first and foremost, we're going to go to your entry and interview you on your entry.
Awesome.
So
Entry's name is Dad Bod.
Dad Bod.
Yeah.
Dad Bod.
Which I am familiar. Not a dad, but I've got the bod.
You got the bod, but you can have the dad bod without the dad. All right. So first and foremost, a fantastic model.
Thank you.
Really well done. Now, this is a 3D print, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Actually, at Con of the North, Peter from Dialis had this at his booth, and it wasn't officially for sale, but it caught my eye behind him.
Yeah.
And I was like, how much is that? Because it really just jumped out at me. It's like, I definitely want to paint that.
I mean, that's fair.
And so he sold it to me at the con, and when, it just really spoke to me, and it didn't have a base or anything. It was just the giant on his own, and
Okay.
so I immediately thought of a scene as soon as I saw it and what I wanted it to be. And over the course of a few months, I just chipped away at it and painted it and turned into what it is. And I just envisioned him as this, big hulking giant coming out of the woods and over a creek, and wildlife scattering as he stomps through. And that's the story of the model. He hears something in the valley and wants to go, do giant things to it, and so he's stomping through, and the deer are scattering underneath his feet to not get stomped as he's walking towards a party of adventurers.
I love it. You can, as a D&D player, you can definitely see that moment for sure. You can hear it in the distance, the roar. It's a terrible thing.
You can hear his stomach growling.
Yeah, exactly.
He needs to feed the dad bod.
Yeah, you're the
You see the
next
stomach
snack.
growling, and then the creatures are just running the other way.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
He's even drooling a little bit over it, but
So, going down to one mic because I'm taking off my sweatshirt. I'm sorry. So you have the inspiration here on this, but what kind of made you drive towards some of these color choices that you have for the model itself?
well, this was really for the most part a study in skin tones. And I have a fine art background, and one of my favorite sculptors is Ron Muck, and he does these super oversized, appropriate for this model, super oversized sculptures.
Oh yeah.
That if you see them in person, they're huge. They're larger than life, and literally you'd come up to a kneecap. If you're walking through a museum and happen to see one of his sculptures, you come up to a kneecap, and it's this really surreal experience, though.
Ding.
The Undertaker's here.
Yeah, right. Another one bites the dust, I guess. Holy.
But
Just all of a sudden, AC/DC starts playing.
but what I was always taken at with his work was these super realistic skin tones that when you're standing up next to it, you almost it's almost akin to if you go to a funeral and you see somebody in front of you that's not living, you're expecting them to breathe. Mm-hmm. That when you see one of his sculptures, that's kind of the experience. It's so real that you expect it to have life in it. And I kind of try to take a little bit of that approach towards my skin tones on this, and everything else besides that was just okay, this is a guy who's living in the forest, so everything he's wearing is going to be kind of weathered, and his leather clothing is all tattered, and wanted to add those textures, and with his chains, I wanted it to be rusty. He's living in this humid, moist environment, and just really an adventure in textures, really.
Yep.
From skin to leather to wood to rock, and even picked up a stick out of my yard and did something different that I haven't done before, and actually use a real the stick for a tree trunk, and
Yeah, because you had messaged the group as a whole, didn't you? On how do I apply this to the base without it going
Decaying.
wrong?
Yeah, and I did some research in that because it was like a lot of times, like each model, I'm doing something different that I haven't tried before. I always try to do something like that, and that's what I did differently on this that I hadn't done before. Was using an actual, like, real living thing for that that I found in my yard as part of the base.
You can get so much out of just going on a walk on a trail.
A rock.
Yep.
Yeah, getting rocks or I
a
picked
stick.
Up, leaves. I had picked up a really unique set of like red leaves that I hadn't seen in anywhere else, and then I applied them. It was actually the rock or the leaves that I used on that warjack that I'd recently done, and I love the color. It's just so vibrantly red.
Yeah.
But yeah, you bake them. You have to.
Yeah.
Make sure that
I
they're
had to make sure there was no
rot.
living, like, not any termites in it or anything like
Bugs.
that. But one of the things that was a challenge, and like I hadn't done anything like, do you just stick it on there, or do you enhance it by like painting over it, and how do you seal it? And so like that was an adventure, and and I did end up sealing it, and then like did some washes over, like, so there's some parts of it, the stick, that are the natural stick, and then I needed to add highlights to it to reflect the lighting that I had used on the model. It's the rest of the model. So there's some paint on there, and I had to bring some parts back to life too. Like there's a part where a stick broke off to leave like that little circle of where branches break off and it leaves that circle, and that was all black. I was like, and I needed to like, so I all that part, like I painted it so that it actually looked like freshly broken instead of like this rotted looking piece of wood.
I was gonna say, it's always interesting at scale trying to paint like natural things, because if you just break off a stick and then have it on the base, it's natural, but it doesn't look to scale.
It doesn't look married to
Yeah,
it.
exactly.
Like not only the scale, like you said, but it's not stylized.
Yeah.
And like I'm a stylized painter, so like you have
Really interesting. Okay.
to you have to put some of that on it so that it looks like it's a part of what you did, rather than just something that was stuck on there.
Yeah, you never want it to be something that you just like glued onto a base and be like, it's good. You want to have something that ties it in.
Yeah. It was interesting over time though. Some of the stuff, like I noticed that was a natural part. Like there was some mossy substance that was on the stick, and it turned gray. It was green when I sealed it, and over time it turned gray underneath the. Because I used Mod Podge to seal it.
Yeah, Mod Podge is always a good standby for it.
But it's not going to keep everything how you originally saw it when you picked it out of your yard.
Yeah.
But that was an interesting and fun thing to learn. A frustration I had with it was, a continued experience with using water effects from Vallejo, and went on great. And for the first 3 weeks that it was on the model, it looked the way it was supposed to, and then for some reason or another, it just started clouding up. So I had to redo the water effects like a day or two before I brought the model in for the competition. And in doing so, I had to redo the splash effects around the deer's feet to recreate that, because it was ruined by what I had to do to fix the cloudiness.
Yeah.
I had to use contrast paint to put back over the water effect that was clouded up to create a brown base, and then I had to redo the pour of the, and hopefully it stays this time. But that was there's always one little frustrating thing that kicks my ass a little bit, and that was it on this model.
I always find that working with, we talked yesterday about it, Stillwater will just reactivate everything that's under it in the literal worst way.
Yeah.
It just instantly reactivates everything, and just...
Yeah, I'll have to experiment and do research and find a different product probably to use. It's good for certain things, but it's not good for working quickly too.
No,
so,
it's definitely not.
It's very important to make sure you're varnishing things, and there's no point that's uncovered, because just the tightest, smallest little thing that you might have missed with a varnish,
it'll just
if it gets exposed
right
to it just becomes this streak that
Yep.
generates from the area you missed.
Yeah,
so,
it's wild how it does that.
Yeah, it's one of those things too. Like I said, I feel like a veteran, but also I've only been doing this for 2 years, and there's always still things I'm learning, and that's one I learned on this one. So, but past that, I was pretty happy with this as an experiment in texturing and like creating different textures for each like bit, like from skin tone to stone to rust to leather. I was pretty happy with this piece overall. There's probably like self-critiquing a little bit, and then I'll let you guys dig into it with your comments and critiques after. Some things I would probably do differently.
You knew I was going to ask.
Yeah.
You knew I was going to do it.
Yeah, we talked about what one major thing would be. The base is one thing that the water effects is one thing, but the other thing would be in adventures in skin tones and doing all the layering that I did. Like the amount of layering I did can cause some splotchiness unintended, where like I probably could have gone back over with an airbrush just to smooth out a couple of areas to make it more smoother transitions in some spots. And that, other than the water effect, that would probably be the one thing that I would self-critique on myself on this model.
The thing that I picked up on was something that someone else had pointed out when they had come over and looked over your model, was the nails, the toenails and the fingernails are basically the same color as the skin itself. They don't have any extra depth to it. And when he pointed it out, I was like, maybe we'll take a look.
Yeah.
But there's just a little bit of sheen that is missing on the toenails and the fingernails when I was looking at it. And it's a minor little thing. It's also something that could be added on later.
Yeah.
But it was one of those items that, out of everything, I was like, that is a good point, because the skin tone is perfect for it. But it just doesn't have that extra layer of it feeling like it has a nail on top.
Yeah. And it's interesting you mentioned the nails. Like, those can always kind of be a little bit of an afterthought, and I could see how, like, I was concentrating. Like, my main focus on this piece was, like, the one eye.
Yeah. Oh, and but by the way, phenomenal. I mean, it was picked out by several people on the Discord, as well as, in here, that, they get up close and you're like, oh my God, he got, that's crazy. So.
Like, and I probably, like when you put so much focus into getting one thing right, you can like overlook certain things like the fingernails.
Yep.
And like, I had thoughts like, what kind of, like, one of the things I could have given him like one black dead toenail or something.
Oh, that would
like,
be fun.
Yeah, and it became like ideas that I had while I was trying to fix, like, because I was looking at the fixing the water.
Yeah.
And you see the toes.
Yeah.
Like, and I was like, should I paint give him one dead nail just to say, oh, he stubbed his toe, or
That's why, maybe that was why he's angry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that anger eye is like, I stubbed my toe.
Crap.
We all have that moment. We all have that.
But yeah, I would agree on the nails, and those are little things that definitely can add character to a model too, and something like we talked about too in Discord, like seeing like big picture things, and like sometimes you miss the small things, or sometimes when you focus on the small things, you miss the big things.
Yep.
And it's like, especially on a model when you're working on Titanic size models, it's something that's definitely a juggling act, and certain things that when you're working on a timeline and you're doing one big model every 3 months, that sometimes, like, I think I had one of those little lapses in focus too, like when on the Jurassic, like you guys we're looking at that one little thing that, like, why is that guy's face like completely in shadow and in front, like, so that can be you can miss things on super big models like that, and I would say the toenails fell into that probably.
It also helps to have, as a good segue to this, if you have communities that you can rely on, lean into, and go, what am I missing? Absolutely. Because then you get more eyes on it and more ability for them to help guide your hand on that.
And I fall into like a little bit like certain things I'll ask about when I'm trying to do something that's process oriented, but a lot of times when I'm doing something for competition, I feel like it's cheating to ask for advice on things, especially from you two. But when I'm in a mindset, like if I'm at paint night and I'm painting something for competition, a lot of times I don't ask people's opinions on it, because I want it to be a full representation of my entire thought into that. And it's probably not a good mindset to have, but that's how I feel about competition sometimes.
That's fair. I'm on the other side of the fence myself, because I think that if you approach it, even from the judge's perspective, if you would approach asking the questions and trying to improve and trying to, do all that, but you did the work,
Yeah.
I wouldn't fault
No.
for asking.
Yeah, it's more. It's not something I think you guys would fault me for. It's just my mentality.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I can see where you're coming from with that. I disagree, but I think that it's.
Like-
I think I disagree too. It's a personality flaw. I'm working on it.
But in that way too, that is something, as I don't want to say a blind spot necessarily because you're aware of it, but it's more of a in the back of your mind, like, oh, I can't because this is competition, and then it's not just me.
Right.
But I think that oftentimes, especially for artists, you need that critique, someone to come in and be like, oh, you missed this, and you're like, ah, shoot, I didn't even see that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're your own worst enemy, especially in art. But I don't think that you can do it alone.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways.
Yeah, I agree with that. And a lot of things too, like I'm sure, like sometimes, Discord has its benefit. You can share anytime, anywhere, and people are there to, comment and critique.
Yep.
But they're at the people commenting and critiquing are at the mercy of what you've decided to take photos of, and on how
Yeah.
angles
Well,
and
and
all that kind of thing.
lighting.
Yeah,
And-
lighting.
Yeah, and like a lot of my models, like you can't really tell what they look like unless you look at them in person because they're large, and I would have to take an exact photo of the foot to say, hey, what do you think about this foot?
Yeah, that's true.
And so like seeing things in person at like Tuesday paid nights at the Forge, jingle, plug. It like you can see things more there,
Yeah.
and get feedback there. But I'm kind of like in a zone, and like if people walk up and want to give me comments, I'll be like, yeah, cool, thank you for that comment. I will consider it.
Yep.
But if I'm not actively saying, like, what do you think?
Yeah, I suppose it does go into a personality of some people do that really, they want that really active feedback.
Mm-hmm.
Some people do it until the end. Some people want it at the time of
Yep.
of judgment. So I guess it is kind of a spectrum that you can go on for that choice on
Yeah.
what you want to do for, how you like getting feedback on your model. So
Definitely. And that's something, I always work on. Like sometimes I also get focused in my zone, like tunnel vision, like reverse ADD, where I'm just like hyper focused and like kind of oblivious to
Everything
my
else around you.
surroundings.
I believe
like,
that's the
fall into that
H in
zone.
ADHD is.
Yeah, hyperactive. Yeah.
Hyperactive.
Yeah, it's like super hyper focused, and sometimes don't like pay attention to the periphery.
Who are you?
I can be like that sometimes, for sure.
But do you have any other thoughts, Kelsey?
No, I think that hits pretty much every aspect of it. I know that Stillwater, I've worked with Stillwater before. Simba had Stillwater back 3 years ago when I won my best overall. And that it's not an easy thing to work with. It's more of something that I would use on top of something like UV resin or something like that to get that texture. But it's not an easy thing to work with, that's for sure.
Yeah, sometimes I think that even just putting down like whatever you want the ground to look like and putting a gloss varnish over it would achieve some things similarly to it. But I'm going to research other resin pours in the future that might be better. I didn't have any horror stories about it. Like I've heard horror stories about people using it and didn't experience that until this model. So that was a lesson learned and something I'll be conscious of if I use it in the future.
I definitely have horror stories of Stillwater because I use it a lot on a lot of models, and I used it on one of them, and they say, oh, you can't pour a certain amount, otherwise you could have bad results for cracking. And I was like, that's a weird thing for a Stillwater to have. Whatever, they don't know anything. And I poured it a little too deeply, and then I had the next morning I had like a valley in my riverbed, because it cracked it. It was so weird.
And I might have had these same issues before, but to be honest, like on some of the other models I've used it on, like I entered like probably 3 or 4 Dwarven axes ago that demon that was swinging had
Yeah.
blood all over it, and there was a little pond of blood underneath him. That was Vallejo water effects, but I also had red inks
Oh, yeah.
in it because it was blood. So it might have fogged, but it's red.
Yeah,
so
but you don't
wouldn't
really
see
notice it. Yeah, and
So-
and if anything, it helps the blood effect.
Yeah.
Deepens it.
Deepens it. Yeah.
Yeah, so, lesson learned. And, it was also fun creating splashes out of the UV resin on this, using wax paper and, bending it while it was still somewhat pliable into shapes that look like splashes around the deer. Having to do that twice because of the Vallejo effect and the problems that caused me, but...
I'll definitely be using that splash effect because I have some ideas for it that I want to use on some models. So it's an exciting thought.
It's great for drool. Like I used it for the drool in the giant's mouth, and I even what I did to affix the drool was I made the drool and then I put a little bit of UV resin around his lip, and then stuck it on there with tweezers. And while I had it stuck there, hardened it. That, and then I also used some of the same. UV resin on his tongue just to have the wet feel in his mouth.
Yeah, the wet kind of, yeah.
But yeah, overall, I was fairly happy with the results and definitely see things that I will take into future models, both positively and things I want to do again and things I want to do differently. So
Awesome.
Well done, David.
Thank you.
Thank you for entering this in and letting us see it, especially over the course of time and progress. I know Kelsey's been seeing it a lot more than I have, but
yeah,
Right.
I've been seeing it
nights
from,
at the Ford.
Yeah, I've been seeing it from afar. So,
Or my crappy basement photos that I post on Discord.
hey, you got
You
to
would
start
never
somewhere.
know that I'm a photographer based on how my miniature photos look because
We all gotta start somewhere, all right?
Yeah, we're miniature painters, not photographers. It would suck if I was a photographer and did that.
Yeah, I have no excuse. It's just pure laziness. That's all.
Sometimes that is the number one thing. All right. Well, we should be able to move on. I think if you're done with
I'm done yapping about myself. Let's talk about other people.
All right. So we're gonna go into. I don't have number one queued up because he took the number one spot. So it's we're gonna go into number two, and I'm gonna have you guys talk about it first. And I'm gonna turn off my mic and go from there. So we have a Scarab Ogre from Alec Habig. Nice. So yeah, it's a fun little thing. Give me a second. You guys can. I'm turning off my mic.
Yep. I know that when this thing came in, it was surprisingly heavy, just because it's a metal model. Really, I love the color choices, the greens with the teal and the purple. I feel like the carapace is really well defined.
And the yellow kind of trim around the shell bits is a nice touch to the greens, to have that yellow at the end really kind of helps.
Right.
It has a lot of dry brushing to it for texture, but that's not necessarily a bad thing either, especially for a good D&D model or a good fantasy Warhammer model. It has a lot that you'd want crawling across the table, and it has enough texture that whenever you're looking at it from 3 feet away, it's defined,
Well, and I think they really well defined the arms and legs really well with their color choices, and just showing that this is part of the calf muscle, or what equivalent would be to a calf muscle in an insect ogre.
Yeah.
A calf muscle and an insect ogre. Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it looks like there's good.
Oh, sorry.
No.
It's okay.
Spotlight again.
So
From what I was seeing, it looked like there was good texturing between there's a shininess to the shell, and I can't tell if there's a dullness to the rest of it, and I like the idea of that if that's the case, where there's different finishes of gloss on the shell to make it shiny compared to
matte.
the other matte parts that help that shell really look like it's an insect shell. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I know this isn't perfect for us, but for viewers, we're viewing it from on a bigger screen here. So, but yeah, I think if there was like a next step that I could do would be define some other colors a little bit more. Like the carapace is really nicely defined, but adding in some extra beyond just edge highlighting, you could add some extra, like another layer of color, maybe glaze up some to additional colors, making brightness like on the leg or on the arms, where it's pushing up color beyond just white or those very the edges of the highlights, something in between the mid-tone and that bright highlight would be my
I was
thought.
almost gonna say like something that would benefit would be more deep shadows on the under parts
Yep.
to push a light source. But I'm also there's people that aren't as big into light sourcing as I am, and having a light source coming from a specific direction.
Well, even just having a general light source around, you can still boost it by having darker shadows underneath areas where, like in the armpits or underneath the legs, you can push those shadows in there, not with necessarily a wash, but with just even just taking like in this case like a purple and adding it to the original color, and then darkening some of those areas, especially like in between the carapace is nice, but it could be boosted a bit more, and it would do well with it.
Yeah.
Or even deepening the shadow from where the chest is of the scarab as well, like on the middle part underneath.
Yeah, exactly.
Using some of that highlight that's underneath there.
Yeah.
Just like it's a movement thing where if you have shadows in certain places, it can really push where the emphasis is and where you want your viewer to go first. And like that being the head, and first of all. But I think the thing I really enjoy about this model is the texturing of the shell. I think that's definitely a really good job of doing that.
Yeah, it got several people turning heads in the case, so it was very exciting to see. So, any closing thoughts from you two on this?
Also, good job on the base,
The base
creating
is
the
really well
environment.
done.
Yeah, I thought it was a very like holistically well built model. So
Nice job, Alec.
yeah, you get tufts on those bases. That's how you win. See, that's what you didn't do. You need more tufts.
Oh, there's tufts on there, just not
Tufts.
enough.
Oh, see, there's not
You
enough.
didn't pay attention.
Not enough tufts. All right, moving on over. We got ourselves number one.
Jason.
We got Jason. Oop. Oh no. Did it completely screw everything up?
Uh-oh.
Maybe? No? Oop. That
There
was
we go.
weird. All right, cool. But so there we go. There's Jason's.
Wayne's World.
Yeah, right.
Much.
Some days. This is a
So we have a Beast Chief fantasy single.
hot fantasy singles in the area. Let's see here. I gotta move over to number 3. But so this one, Jason was number one to enter. Got it in first and foremost before anyone showed up. And here, I'll pop up the video for you guys. It honestly is a really solid model. It's got a lot of nice highlights, a lot of nice shadows. The colors are great. It's got tufts.
Great base.
Yeah, great base. It tells a story. The highlighting is really well done. So I felt like it had all of those aspects that really catch the eye and make you want to look at it.
Yeah, I'm watching it rotate around. One thing that caught my eye when I first looked at it is I liked how they used, like they have colors in the base that also repeat themselves on the model itself, so it draws your eye up and gives movement to it.
Yeah.
I feel like maybe they could have done that a little bit more, introduce those colors around the face more, so that it's like a full range of movement from the base all the way up to where your focal point should be in the head.
Though I do think his highlighting on like the maroon pants
Yeah.
does tie in some of that yellow into it, so it does.
Well,
I think
it
he
adds
used
that sun fade.
Yeah.
Which is what I tried to use on the skeletal knight that I made for you.
Yeah, it's just that yellow is so bright, and it tries to draw my attention and keep it.
That's true.
Where it is.
Yeah, down to the knee.
That if something on the headdress or something up top also had it, it wouldn't hold my eye on his knee and at his
That's
foot
fair.
where the yellow flowers are.
Would you say to do that on like paint one of the armor pieces as if it was a painted piece of metal would help?
Would something like that, or like maybe some? It looks like he has like. Sorry, my eyes are struggling. Like he has this eyepiece, or something around the horns, or like if he has braids in his beard hair, like just something around the face that also has that yellow color, just so
to draw it up
to help keep that yellow movement, and not just hold it in that one spot.
You could do it. That would be an exploration in like maybe chipping. You could do a clan logo on the pauldron.
Yeah.
Something to draw it in a little bit more.
Yeah. But that was like the only, like, I think this is a really good piece and really well done. And that was my only, like, piece of feedback that I would give myself on that.
Yeah. I think that's actually something that I didn't even think about. But you're right. Like that's where my eye is drawn to, is on the one side. If I don't look at the side with the yellow, it does a nice job tying everything together, because the maroon and the brown are close enough where it's not drawing my eye in weird places. But yeah, once the model spins around a little bit more to that yellow, you get this weird
eye stays there.
Yeah.
And that's just something you have to be conscious of when you use a really bright color as an embellishment. Is it could hold your eye there in a place where you don't want the focus to be. In this case, a knee and a foot. Rather than the face, which is where you want your what you want your viewer to see first is that face.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
very cool.
Any other thoughts? Closing
job
thoughts?
with the medals, and
we'll be excited to see some more stuff coming from you.
Yeah, from Jason. Always a pleasure to see that. All right, I got to queue up the next one here. Got to figure that out because I have to turn it off.
So,
panic.
So, ExcaliburCon. What's been some of your highlights of ExcaliburCon?
Well, I think ExcaliburCon, like the people here, are very nice and accommodating. I had a few things that I needed to just brush up on my mini before I entered it into the competition, and met a nice fellow who lent me his table while he wasn't using it so that I could do that. So just a good camaraderie of the people here, very friendly. I think was my main takeaway. I came here for the competition, so the other parts were kind of fun to look around, but not necessarily what I was here for. So obviously coming here for this and supporting you guys was a big part of me being here.
We appreciated that.
Yeah. And hanging out with you guys, of course, is always great.
Aww.
So, flattery will get you everywhere.
But also, coming here to represent, bring our southern, Twin Cities folks up here to the great north, the tundra, the great Superior Lake puddle, and but Duluth has been nice too. The food has been great. Everywhere we've eaten has had just really been great food.
Yeah, it's been a great time up here, I would say. It's definitely bigger than it was last year because I came up here last year to help paint judge for 40K, and it was much smaller, and so I was expecting something very similar, and I was wrong. I was very wrong.
I mean, it's been fun too. Like I was painting in the other room over there, where they were having some role-playing games back there, but then you have this big Warhammer area directly in front of us, and like I was painting and I heard somebody must have rolled really well in the Warhammer area and just like yet out this war cry scream of happiness that echoed throughout the entire convention. So it's fun to see that kind of enthusiasm.
It's always fun. So we have the tater tots. Taro tots. They got little butt cheeks.
These are fun.
Yeah, they're fun. The basing is wildly good.
Yeah, I really like the basing too. That's what stands out to me.
Yep. The models themselves could use a little more. They have a lot of highlights and they have some lowlights, but there's not a lot of definition.
Punch up the contrast.
Yeah, so there's no differentiation between that dark and light. So it kind of just feels like it's one color, which I think misses the mark, especially with the basing. I think he chose right with the coloring for the basing as well as the models themselves to make it feel like it's a unique model, but feel holistic for color. Color theory is always important.
On the one that just passed by on the rotation, that face compared to the other ones looked a little bit more muddy, like there was more shadow on it. Like I think the one that's passing by right now, I think that has some nice definition on it.
Yep.
I would agree.
So it's just some consistency
Yeah.
on that front, but on that, that one looks good too, but on this next one coming around is the one I was talking about.
Yeah, you need more like definition so that you can tell what the eyes are and what the where the nose is and that kind of thing.
And just make it brighter as it, like higher up on the forehead and like on the cheeks, just to give it the highlights there would have really helped push form and dimension on that particular head.
Yeah.
I would agree. Getting the formations of the face and just so that people know what they're looking at, it helps a lot.
It does. It does. One thing that I will point out: rim your bases, paint your bases, paint them with a dark color. So this was news to me, and this ties in with this. Someone pointed out in one of the Discords they posted up a picture of their model, and they had a bright blue base. And there was a comment that caught my eye that someone said, "I'm distracted by how bright the base is, or how bright the rim is, and I can't, I keep getting drawn back down to that. My eye keeps falling down to that." And I thought about that. I was like, that's a good way of thinking about it, because if you don't have it framed, it's like having a picture with no frame on it. You don't have a way of differentiating between the wall and the piece for a picture, and for the model, you don't have that nice it's sitting on a base and it's framed in so that you know that this is the edge of what you should be looking at, and I'm framed into this space. And if you don't have that, it pulls away from the model rather than helping it.
Yeah.
Right.
And it goes back to what we were talking about on that previous model with the yellow at the base and all underneath. If you painted a bright color, you're drawing the attention somewhere that you don't want it to be. If you spent all this time painting a face, and that's supposed to be the emphasis of what you want people to see first, and you've painted a neon blue rim around your base, you're just drawing attention down to the neon blue and keeping it there rather than it going around the model. And that's something I learned too. You guys critiqued me on one of my first entries. I didn't do a black rim around the base. I kind of painted it to be part of the scene, and that's kind of what they've done here. It's it could be that could be stone.
Yep.
But I agree. I've come to agree with you guys. Sometimes, an artist might be thinking, I want the base to just look like a scene, and they don't want it to be look like a frame, it's kind of akin to a canvas painting that doesn't have a frame. You just hang it on your wall, and your wall becomes the frame. Well, if you don't put a base around this, whatever it's sitting on, the table becomes
the frame. Yeah.
And in mini painting, you don't want that.
Yeah.
Unless, of course, you're doing it with a diorama where you can inset it in there.
Yeah, you can inset it.
That's a different story.
Yeah. Additionally, you don't. So, as someone that painted all of my rims dark gray, because I thought it worked better with the models themselves, and I like the dark gray that I used. You don't have to have it be black, but you want it to be a darker tone where it doesn't detract. So, like a brown, a black.
Yeah, almost like an umber. A dark brown would have worked on this.
A dark brown would have been
Or
perfect.
even a gold brown.
Yeah.
Gold dark brown.
Or just think about your environment and pick a complementary color that's the absolute darkest that you can think of that would exist in that environment.
Even a dark maroon or burgundy would work well in this space.
Yeah, if you were doing a lava base, doing a dark maroon would work really well.
Yep, kind of have that extra glow effect, that feel to it, but it needs to be consistent and stuff.
But if you're going for earthy tone, a dark brown would work.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be black, it just has to be not distracting.
Exactly.
Right.
So.
Well,
thank you very much to Sven. Sven's got a couple more here. We're gonna see if we can transition here and it not be terrible, because it's been weird. I think I want to do duplicate sources.
I was going to say too, like you can move on to the different model, but like with the focusing on tones and skin tones and neat, like it's very purple.
Yeah.
You could use like a different undertone in your shadows, like even like a deep sea green or something to be a contrast shadow color to the purples would really set the purples off.
Yes.
If you just like a little bit of color theory in there to, it would help it like make it just not a one big, or in that case small, because it's small models. And it's, but you know,
A unit of small models.
yeah, a unit of small models. But when everything is purple, varying it up and thinking about what color might be in the shadows that could be different from the purple will help break it up.
Well, even complementing the hair color, if you went with like a dark sea blue into a purple, because the hair itself was like a teal, and you could get that kind of or even put that same color back in the hair.
Yeah.
And then it would complement the whole model.
Yeah.
I think it would be a mother color, I think is what it's more called. There is such a thing as mother color, where you pick one color and you build off of that same color.
Yeah, and it's just that's another way to move an eye around, is making sure colors are repeated. And when you have something that's just all purple, there's no contrast there, so you're just kind of like stuck.
Yeah.
Right.
All right, so another one from Sven. This one got talked about a lot. This one got brought up a lot by a lot of people. And honestly,
and we also all enjoy it too.
Yeah.
Paint job is amazing. I love the shell.
Yep. I like that the finish on the shell is different than the rest of the model. It's not. It was very particular in choosing that to be glossed, and then everything else to be more satin.
I like the rusting on his sword.
Yep, the blade, and it has the sharp edge. You know, the used edge being not rust, which I think is a nice detail orient.
The gloss on the shell is amazing.
Yep, it's amazing. The coloring is great too.
The biggest knock on this, and my first thing that I was like that I noticed, was a complete lack of a base.
Yes.
Or attention to it.
Yep.
Even just putting down a little bit of like sand texture. You could even do a sand texture with a little bit of like you're on a beach.
Yep.
Use some Vallejo water effects.
Be careful.
Not sponsored.
Be careful with it, but or even a UV resin to
Yep.
simulate like water. Little drip effects could have added some to it. Like you just came out of the water and has like water dripping off of them. You could have like just little details like to sell an environment on this would make it like go from just an amazing figure to a complete piece, and you're selling your viewer, whoever's looking at it, on an environment and telling a story. And that's what would elevate this to, would have been a potential, best in show competitor. Yeah,
I actually agree with that. I love again, this goes back to people being excited about seeing a model. Like, people were excited to see this model all the time. Yeah. It was picked out of a case of a ton of models, as like, wow, I love this thing. Mm-hmm. I'll be honest, I had completely forgotten that the teal was in the back. Mm-hmm. I would want that in the front too.
Yeah, I think there's a bit of a loincloth that you could probably bring that teal up front to add that color.
Yeah, because I think that would have helped like really punch it up to the next level for me.
Contrast.
Yeah, add that contrast where I'm viewing the entire thing from the shell down and then up. I'm viewing the entire model.
Adding a little bit of the teal to the sword, like the hilt maybe.
Yeah, or even a patina, adding a patina to it so that you have
that. You wouldn't need much.
You would not need much, no. Just enough to be a differentiation.
And then going back to the base, because you still have like the opportunity to add to the base.
Yeah.
And I think you should. And you could have that Caribbean teal color in the water effect that you do to have that color repeated. But yeah, I was like, I love this model. It really stuck out, and the shell really stands out to me as really great.
They also did a fairly good job of getting rid of all the mold lines on this model too.
Yes.
There's a couple spots where you could kind of tell, especially like at the point of the shell, that there was just a little bit left there, but it was really well done.
What I want to know, being that I've been playing a lot of OPR, this to me is like, I want this for OPR. Like, I want this model, and I want to know where he got it.
OPR is one-page rules.
One-page rules. Sorry, I apologize.
And
yeah.
it's constantly on Alex's mind.
Yes, it is. It's constantly on my mind because it's model agnostic. I can just play anything, and this dude would be so cool.
Yes, it is a cool model.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of jealous. Like, I might look for this model because I have like a sea theme going on in my collection too.
Oh yeah.
With the the walking shark thing that I got.
Oh yeah.
This would be a good addition to.
You need like 5 of these to be like minions.
Right.
Stomping across.
I know that there was another person that also submitted a hermit crab model, and I'm like, it would be really cool. Not saying that I would change anything about this, other than the few things that we've touched on.
Other than all the things that we mentioned that you should change.
But it would be fun if you had like, if you wanted to be more themed, like someone had picked up that shell at one point and decorated it for an actual hermit crab. You could have tattoos on the shell.
Oh yeah, that'd
like,
be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool addition on that.
And also, like with what we were talking about with the teal, which is a great contrast color to that yellow, I would say like a good way to add that into or around the face. I can't tell, like looking at the model currently on the screen, if it has eyes.
I don't know if it did. I think it does somewhere.
But like having a glow around where the eyes would be that was teal, like to get like a magical feel. And I think that would be a good way to bring some emphasis to the face.
Yeah. Yeah.
Solid bottle.
Really good.
It's really cool. Thank you, Sven. One more? One more from Sven. Oh yeah, the Nephilim. What? How did you pronounce it? No.
Don't worry about it.
It's really annoying that it keeps like resizing it weirdly. Nephilim. Nephilim. I'm gonna.
Was this from the gentleman who brought the other model?
Yes.
Up to,
yeah. Yeah.
Sven. Yep.
Yeah. If you want to talk about it for the briefest moments, I'm just gonna get. Sorry. I need another monitor. What I'm noting.
Live on stream.
Yeah. You see the process here. You guys get to suffer through.
Extra monitor.
External monitor. All right.
There we go.
A lot of this would be solved if we had that. So I apologize. But all right. So this one is a Nephilim. It just from the initial kind of look, it has the same things that the Tarot Tots had. Was the kind of the colors seem to be kind of one and the same. There's no contrast between like darks and lights. There's no some things just kind of end, but not really with a nice transitional period. It's just kind of a stark.
It's like you have like the wings are a large part of this model, and they're just purple.
Yeah.
You have the opportunity with the wings to like you could have the structure of the wings be purple. You could maybe move to a different color like a magenta or a complementary color for the membrane of the wings to kind of give them some contrast and other more visual interest than just being one note purple.
Or even just adding in like a dark sea blue to like in the back to show the depth of like the wings are really scaled back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As pulled forward.
You really triggered Rob Seeley by mentioning Dark Sea Blue, by the way. That's
triggered in a good way? Or?
Triggered in a
Dark
good way.
Sea.
I love Dark Sea Blue as a base color to build up from.
That's not the right model. Yeah, I love Dark Sea Blue to do pretty much everything. So
yeah.
Like somewhere right now, Rob Seeley just kind of perked up and he's like, someone mentioned it.
But, you know, I'm a big fan of wet blending into other colors, and like Dark Sea Blue would be a great color. Also, what is it, Warlord Purple?
Yeah.
To really be a highlight color, to like especially like you could use something like a Warlord Purple on the face.
Yeah. Well, and he kind of does have that with
There's a little
on the
bit
body,
of it.
Yeah.
But it needs more.
Yeah.
It's too dim.
It needs highlights.
Yeah, it needs highlights.
And I think we were commenting, he brought up another model for us to give some advice on earlier. And I kind of would give the same advice on this model, is like think of a light source and where your light is coming from and highlight accordingly. And that if you like always think of where it's coming from, it'll keep it uniform, but start from your focal point in your area of interest where you want your viewer to view first, and think about adding to other spots where you want to lead their eye to.
Yeah.
So start with the face and the head and move to other parts, but fade it slightly.
Right.
Well, and if you have like a weapon or something that you want to highlight as a focal point, a shield with a symbol or some banner, you want to make that be the, that's where your eye immediately gets drawn to, and then they'll look across the model elsewhere.
Yeah.
And typically it's if you have like a point, like say a weapon that's glowing, they'll look at the glow.
Yep.
And then they'll draw to the face, and then they'll look at the other hand, and then the rest of the model.
Yep.
And so it's kind of you have to think about that as you're painting it. This is the direction that my viewer is going to be looking.
Right.
Yeah. And I
Get
feel
the triangle method.
yeah.
Triangle or trapezoid.
Yeah.
We were mentioning that with his other model that he brought up, and I think that applies here too. Because right now, like the brightest point of this model is his clothing. I feel like you could probably tamp that down a bit and move the focus more to his face.
Yeah.
Because right now, the main thing that the viewer sees first is those really bright pieces of clothing that are on the model. If those were maybe like a darker brown and like the contrast was punched up on the face, I think that would help it a lot.
I think actually something that would help the cloth is texturing too, like stippling or sponging onto it to give it some texture. Oh man, 1 hour. We got to wrap this thing up.
No dilling or dallying.
No. I would
Kill your enemy. You have an hour.
I would honestly say that punching it up with like a texture would be beneficial, because adding in some of that darker texture in some of the recesses, so you don't have to necessarily think about it as layering or like edge highlighting. You can do texture and kind of add in those small little, almost a glazing with like a sponge. I always think of like pluck foam with that, and adding in that texture to then boost up where the eye is going to look, because it'll look diffused. It'll pull apart kind of that the uniformity of the cloth, while not making it like extra bright.
Yeah.
So it makes it interesting to the eye without it being just like punched up to the nines.
Yeah.
Now, the black for the goatee, do you agree with just adding more highlights, at least closer to the chin, to bring that face back up to the face would be a good call? Obviously, it's rotating right now for us.
I think that some of the other area where I'm trying to remember. I want to see the back of it now. If he has hair on his back, the back of his head, I don't remember if he does. But I think framing it is nice too, where he can have the goatee be a little bit darker, and then having the face be a little bit brighter, because then he could focus on having it there. Otherwise, adding in another color entirely that's not dark, so mixing in like with that gray or blue, adding in a little bit of bright yellow to like ice yellow, so like an off-white, to kind of boost that contrast up a bit for highlighting would be really beneficial to draw the face in without it highlighting it.
And as I'm like, kudos for doing a base. I think you have to also consider treating the base like it's a character.
Yeah.
And there's not a whole lot of separation of elements here. Like the log is the same color as the ground, and I think you could do some simple washes over the log to give it more of a brown, like a more vibrant brown to it, to make it look like it's a tree rather than dirt.
Yep.
Maybe consider those elements just to add contrast to your base too.
Yeah.
But I think the overall takeaway is just look for ways to add contrast to certain things and draw your viewer's eye around the model.
Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. Well, thank you, Sven.
Yeah, thank you, Sven. The saga that was Sven.
Good body of work.
Yeah, good. Like in all, a really good body of work. So, moving on over
To Carlene
Carlene. Yeah,
with her giant constrictor snake.
I gotta stop hitting buttons. This is why we can't have nice things.
Button
Whack-a-mole.
Yep.
the giant constrictor snake. Now she is actually just a couple booths down from us, and her and I think it's her husband.
Significant other,
Yeah,
business
significant
partner.
other business partner.
Yeah.
They are selling miniatures there, and painted miniatures. And this was the one that she wanted to enter in. I actually really enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, it's just fun.
Yeah.
It's a good D&D model.
And it kind of shows what we were talking about, how you can, like, yes, this is a green model, but she has yellow in there, and it's just, it breaks up the green. Like, it reads green, but it also breaks up, so it's just not one note of
Yeah.
green.
It also feels like it has yellows and browns and,
Well, the
and some
texture
and texture and things.
But
I'm getting lost in the sauce. There we go.
and then picking out like the interior of the mouth, it was very well done in this model.
Yeah.
And the eyes.
Yeah,
and
the
then
yellow repeated in the eye is a good touch.
Yeah.
And then deepening like the color around the eye so it doesn't just get mashed in with the rest of just the flat color of the body. It was really nice too.
Now I know that this is it's a simple model selling for D&D and they're it was never meant for like a display case kind of idea, right? It was never meant originally for competition piece, right? This is for sale, and I get that because there's something to be said again about having a D&D model that's painted on the table, and you just have a model on the table that's painted. It elevates that moment in like TTRPG moments. That's way more visceral and fun. So I don't fault that at all. I think if she were to expand in something, having a not green on the base, or having a large base that she could then build into, having this snake would be really cool.
A dark brown, like we were talking about, earlier. Even though this doesn't have a typical circular, base.
Yeah.
You still probably want to go something that grounds it, which brown would be good. And then I would say that whatever brown color would have been used on the base, you could also use as a more prominent shadow color
Yeah.
throughout the rest of the model. So like like the underside of the snake, where you're on the bottom of the cylinder of it, could be a darker brown to indicate shadow. And that would make the head more of the emphasis. And,
Yep, it would pop.
Yeah, it would just add this just as an example of something that just needs a little bit more contrast.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the green wash is nice. I would agree that if you went with more of a brown, then maybe the green over that, it might make it resemble like it just came out of like a murky algae-filled water.
Yeah.
Most snake bellies are actually a way brighter color, or even just pitch black.
Yeah, and in a
good
competition,
point.
like adding other textures and products like maybe Uhu glue
Oh,
to both
man.
indicate like it's coming out of water, but also slime and like around the mouth, to have like a more like that like alien effect. Like when you have see an alien open its mouth and it has that liquid all around its mouth, it's just more intimidating. Like if this is going to be used on a D&D table, it would probably freak your players out a little bit more if it had a little bit of slime on it.
Yep.
So.
Uhu glue, my beloved.
Yep.
Or even adding in, you could actually punch out little tiny holes of green and then make duckweed on top of the snake too, because it's kind of the green on the bottom of the green that I'm kind of getting the vibe for is like it's in either a jungle or a marshy, swampy area. So if this giant constrictor snake came out of the water, it would probably have those green duckweed or like algae on top of it.
As a nature and wildlife photographer, like going to Florida and having like alligators coming out of the water, and yes, they have like plants on them as they're coming out, so that would definitely help add to the environmental effect of it. I totally agree with you there.
But it always leads to my point of if you always are wanting to look at doing basing, but you're not sure how to do it, look up reference pictures.
Yeah.
Google is a wonderful tool to find reference pictures for what you'd like to do.
Yeah, you could probably, like, there's probably a company out there that has paper lily pads and stuff.
Oh yeah, there are.
Where you can, like, glue that onto the top of the snake as it's coming out.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah, just that, like, little environment. But that's just for, like, this is perfect. Like, you're going to throw it at your players.
Yeah.
Great as is. But if you want to, like, to bring
Elevate
it
it a little bit more.
to a competition level, that's the type of stuff you have to think about.
Yeah, I would fully agree. It does repeat the same thing that we've been saying since the beginning of Dwarven X. Is like sometimes all you need on the table is a painted model, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and this is very good at that.
It's very good at that. Like if this popped up on my table, I'd be scared.
Yeah.
That would be a moment.
Yep.
Exactly.
Not that you know anything about that, David. Having a ton of painted models for your
Don't know
table.
what you're talking about.
You're not even the DM for it. You're just making other players suffer.
All the other players that I play with are always mad at me for saying, "Why are you giving him this stuff to throw at us?" It's like, well, it's D&D. Do you want me to paint some bunnies? Like we just fight bunnies? What are you talking about?
I'd be more scared if it was a cute bunny on the table. I'd be like,
everybody's
what's
seen
wrong with
Monty
it?
Pythons.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I know what happens. I've seen
red
this.
eyes.
It's a Vorpal bunny.
It's a Vorpal bunny. No. All right, next up we got Terry Clark. Additionally, being sold at the booth down the way.
Ventures for hire.
Yeah, Ventures for Hire. Great
people.
Yeah, fantastic
Go over
folks.
there
Yeah.
later and you can see their booth.
Yeah.
Over.
You should head over and check out what they have, so you too can suffer through wanting to get involved with more D&D minis.
Yeah. Running out of shelf space.
Running out of that just means you need another shelf.
Yeah, true. Need to go shelf shopping more than
Shelf.
miniature shopping.
We got the flail snail.
The flail snail.
Love flail snails.
They're so cool. They're underrated,
Yeah.
honestly.
We actually fought one we didn't fight one. We maneuvered around one in our D&D campaign recently, where all of a sudden it was just like munching away at some like hell grass basically, and we were just like, what is that thing?
Yeah, I don't want to deal with a flail
I
snail.
don't want to deal with flail snail. Who wants to deal with flail snail?
It can be
I don't
over
like
there.
Flail snail.
So it was just funny.
Cool to kill one, like, you know, in our campaign, like I killed a displacer beast and skinned it and made a displacer cloak out of it. It'd be cool to like do that to a flail snail too, like just take its flails and use like have that be your primary weapon as a barbarian.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Make it kind of
Like a whip, like a
a
whip
whip flail.
flail. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be difficult, but it would only have to. I would make it. If it were me as a DM, I would have to make it be a barbarian only thing and maybe a fighter if they trained long enough with it.
It would be really cool. All right, so first and foremost, the slime. Very cool.
Yes.
Love that.
Was that part of the model?
I
talking
think
about
so.
The clear part, yes, and I believe the bottom of it is.
Because that goes back to what I was saying about Uhu Glue on the previous model.
This
has it
screams,
built in,
yeah.
but that's something you could do like,
Yeah.
for the snake. Add that effect to it.
Again, another piece that's for sale that is not necessarily for competition, but other than it has heavy wash over top of a normal layering, so having some highlights, deepening some of the shadows a bit more. Like the shell has just one color of blue. It being a reflective color helps, but it just needs more to it than
I like
than
the
where it is.
iridescent quality to
Yeah.
it. Like it's really cool, but I found myself like when I was looking at it, like thinking about how would you add shadow to it, and I think like a lot of the ways that people do non-metallic metal would apply to that shell.
Yeah.
Like to have a darker base tone as the base and not have it fully, like maybe only the top half of it, like it starts iridescent and fades to whatever the base color was.
Yeah.
It just needs, like, I think that would help with the dimensionality of it rather than being like the flat, just iridescent paint.
Picking up something? Are you just taking a look?
Hopefully enjoy.
Yeah, thank you.
I also just realized that on the Sunday badge it's red wall.
Oh, it is. Look at that. It's cute.
That's adorable. Anyway, sorry, side tangent. Yeah, I would think needing a little bit more depth in the shell would be really great. Even if it was just like a blue shade wash, recess shading would help. Give it a little bit more definition.
Or purple, something.
Purple would also work too.
Something to kick it up. Yeah.
Yeah, something darker down towards the bottom. Like, this does a great job, like, of showing how, like, when you use an effect like that and the natural light coming from where you're viewing it at, like, shows, like, the highlights. But I think it could definitely be enhanced by painting
Yeah.
the shadows onto it.
Yeah.
It's really easy to fall into that as a trap, like when you're using even metallic paints, just doing it flat and not adding anything to it. It still comes off as flat.
Well, and you have to, with metallic paints too, you know, non-metallics are, you're choosing where everything is. If you're doing if you're doing true metallics, you still have to do all that shading and highlighting and things. You're just doing it with a different paint that is reflective. You still have to apply those exercises.
But I think a lot of people fall in the trap. Oh, I'm just going to throw the metallic paint, or in this case, this iridescent paint, and without doing it, like, and think that that's going to do all the work for you. And it can if the lighting is the way you want it in a room, and the lighting is perfect.
Yep.
And you're thinking like, but if you don't paint it in there.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll look different and maybe possibly not the way you want it to look.
Yeah, exactly.
Unless you paint the shadows in yourself.
It's not going to be how you want it to be. So, and that
Cosplay.
Yeah, I love cosplay.
The other part for me is a little bit of blending between the flails and the head. Instead of that stark transition, just mixing the two colors and like blending them between.
Wet blending does amazing work with that.
And if you're not comfortable doing wet blending, even just grabbing the two colors and then just, you know, mixing them between and stippling between will do a lot. Back to that sponging technique, just taking a sponge and just applying it over and over again, you can get some nice transitions without much work.
Yeah.
So.
And thinking about forms and dimensionality and just placing shadows where you think they might enhance the shapes.
Yeah.
Like, because even on the slug, its skin itself, it could use some more shadowing and shading on it.
Yeah. So, awesome.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank
Cool
you,
stuff.
Terry.
Yeah, thank you, Terry. And thank you to the fine folks over at
Hired Adventure.
Hired Adventure for submitting some models.
For hire.
Yeah, Adventure for Hire. Hire and Adventure, that's what it is. Hire and Adventure. For just randomly entering in some models, so I appreciate
it was
that.
fun. And
So next up,
Casey Murphy.
We have
with
Casey
the
Murphy.
Undead worm.
it's a worm. It's undead.
Worm. Would you love me if I was still a worm?
A dragon worm or a worm
I mean-
to go fishing with?
I mean, you know.
Yeah. Could a little column A, a little column B. Yeah, this thing's gross looking.
Yeah. Gross in a good way.
Gross in a good way.
It could have been a dragon at one point.
Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yeah, I think that this is a fine example of just a usable model that's been painted. It has a ways to go for applying. Now I know that the Kings of War guys got basically told you can get 2 extra points for the tournament overall if you enter in a model into the Dwarven X, which I am not above bribery to get models into this, which I do appreciate because we had some winners come through from it, but yeah, it's
All for that.
yeah.
All for 2 extra points.
Hey, you know what? 2 extra points is 2 extra points.
Hey, not complaining.
But it's a playable model that's being used. It has the colors in the right spots. That's where my kind of big.
Or if you wanted to put this on a D&D table.
Yep.
I would say like looking at it, like when I saw it on the table and as I'm seeing it on the screen, there's like a good basis here and there's things that can be done to enhance. Like we talked about Uhu glue for water or spit effects. Like you could do the similar things with blood. But I think just adding contrast is another point of emphasis, I would say, for this model.
Yeah.
Everything's base coated really well, but you could do a lot with contrast paints here just to add shading in spots and to fill in around where the scales are a little bit more, to just add more depth and dimension.
I like the glazeness of the eyes.
Yeah,
where,
actually.
like the undead, it kind of would just be a white.
Yeah, I think you could maybe add it's very milky,
Yep.
but a color you could add as a to help enhance that would be like a really faded blue.
Oh, true.
Just to
yeah.
put into the recesses, just to give things that are in that area a little bit more form, but still look that, give that gaunt feel that you're going for with that just dead look there.
Right.
But maybe using some more like plum or darker, earthier reds in the recesses of the blood to really give it more dimension in those areas.
Same with the bones, helping
Yeah.
just define the bones more than just bloody, single colors. So.
Right.
Yeah. And while the figure on the back kind of gets lost to me because it's kind of just one note, even though it's a dead figure, I would maybe think about using some like slatey blues or something other than gray, just to give some more color interest and vibrancy up there, to add more attention to the rider.
Yep. It does help contrast because it is a dark,
Yeah.
a darker model versus the brighter, undead kind of wormness. But I agree. I'm glad that he didn't just go straight metallic, but he stuck with having some grayish tones, and he could really play with having it be more, even pushing more blue instead.
Even
blue
just
gray.
some separation of elements, even though you can keep everything grayish, but
Yeah.
do like a wash over certain things of browns, just to give.
Yeah.
Like he's wearing different articles. Like there's armor there, there's a crown there, there's a skin, or his bones, or I think he's a bony guy, right? Like a kind of a lich.
I think so.
I would just give certain things different color washes to make sure that you're separating the elements
Yeah.
of clothing, armor,
Bone. Yeah.
Another great thing that could add to this would be a mix of Uhu glue with Blood for the Blood God or red inks or stuff like that, or having actual saliva coming out from the mouth and stuff like that.
Yeah, you could
too.
do some drips. That would be scary at a table. You just got dripping blood coming out of the mouth.
I'll be honest. So one thing that I can warn: mixing Uhu glue and Blood for the Blood God dries nearly instantly. So you have to mix it and then immediately apply it.
Well, there's other products other than Uhu glue that are already tinted red, like Goblin Snot has red and they have clear.
Okay.
So you can, it's already mixed red and it looks like blood straight out of the
That's
bottle.
Perfect.
Dirty Down, right?
I think so.
Is it Dirty Down?
There's several. There's Goblin Snot. There's Dirty Down. I think.
Yeah.
I don't remember what the company name is. Or what the product
Villainy
Maybe.
Inc. might have one, but yeah.
There's a lot of different products out there that come prepackaged. Like Uhu glue is versatile because you can add contrast paints and other things to it to get certain effects. Like if you wanted to add green to it, you could create
Snot
pussy
thing,
snot,
yeah.
or whatever you
Yep.
need to.
You can also apply it after the fact too.
But but that requires mixing, and like you said, you don't know if it's going to dry quicker because
Dries
of
really fast.
paint. But
Also, do not, if you want to use a brush, use a bad brush
Yeah.
for that.
I use toothpicks. a lot.
toothpicks.
Toothpicks is ideal.
Yeah.
Yeah, toothpicks are easier to twist because sometimes Uhu glue you have problems with it sticking when you don't want it to.
Yeah.
And it'll stick to what you're trying to apply it to
Yeah.
more than in the model.
Yeah.
And it can be messy. But,
Yeah.
but also fun.
It is a
And,
process, and it's an enjoyable one.
Yeah.
Just adds character to the model.
There you go. A little bit of weathering. Well, thank you, Casey, for showing us what it would be like if we loved you as a worm. All right, next up we got a Lord of Plagues.
Jared Sweeten.
Went to Jared.
Oh, Oh, he went to Jared. Oh my goodness. I wish with all my soul that this worked properly.
It's getting there.
It's, oh my God, it's a process. Maybe, but this is the side that we're seeing, and fixed. There you go. It's not even perfectly fixed. Whatever.
It's there, though.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
So-
okay. It's fine. I'm not mad.
I think this is a really well painted model. I wish that there was more highlights.
Yeah, that was my takeaway on it too, is just highlights to create emphasis and more dimensionality to surfaces.
Well, and I think the color choices were really well done too. The teal really pops against the skin tones, and then there's that yellow-green tabard that he has, in front of him that pops too, and it complements the base because the base has some of that vivid, bright yellow-green slime.
Yeah. The color choices for me really stuck out. The nice teal versus the copper versus the kind of dead skin tone.
Yeah.
It works nicely together.
Yeah, everything's very well done color theory wise.
Yeah.
It would just be, I would consider thinking more about tone and contrast.
Do you, turning my mic back on. The one element that I wished was a little bit different overall was the wood post on the back. I wish it had a little more emphasis on either more of a greenish tone or like, rotten algae, that kind of thing. So that it was slightly too close. It looks really good on camera, but it's slightly too close to the skin tone, and it was distracting. Because it was like, is the skin tone the same as the wood? But the wood should be different from the skin tone, and it just didn't mesh well. So adding in a bit of like a green to it, a green tinge, or he has some purple on some other areas, like really emphasizing that purple would be really beneficial, I think.
Yeah, going that direction, or like you said, just something to differentiate, like a more traditional brown would have worked too, just to differentiate it from the same wood that's also on the shield.
Yeah.
Or even punching up the highlights on the skin.
Yeah, that too.
You would then just have the wood would just be fine and just a little bit more definition at the
Yeah,
top.
I think Kelsey and I were talking about that yesterday, looking at this model and how like everything looked great, but we just really wanted more highlights on the skin, especially up top.
Directed, like, again, you can have a good competition piece where your highlights are just at the top, like the shoulders, the head, and stuff like that. You just got to make sure you're gradiating it right.
Yeah.
So taking a picture of your model and then put it to black and white and see where your highlights are.
Yeah.
And then brightening up toward the front so you can, or up to the top, so that people are more wanting to look up at the face rather than down below.
Or in person, like shine a flashlight on it, like where you like the direction that you think the light should be, and just really pay attention to where that real light is dropping the shadow, and think about that when you're painting, so that you're applying that light source. I find that zenithal priming really helps with that too, but you can lose track of that as you're painting, even with a zenithal prime.
Yeah.
So every once in a while, just doing a flashlight check on your model where you wanted the light source to come from, and really like thinking about that as you paint.
I think one extra thing that would have helped too is the teal needs more highlighting. It has edge highlighting in some areas, but it needs to have that punch up, especially on the smoother surfaces of like the shoulder pad.
Just like a brighter jade.
Yeah. The legs kind of have it on the top, but I think that the pauldron and the helmet need it more than what it's at, because right now it's a little flat.
Yeah, you're right. It almost seems like there's a little bit more highlight on that back calf than there actually is on the helmet. If you had that same contrast on the helmet, it would really help the head be more of the focal point.
Yeah, because I think back here, and that might just be a reflection from the light, but there is a bit of that, like, it's just enough where I'm like, ooh, I wish this was elsewhere.
Right.
You know?
I would agree.
So, But yeah,
Very cool, though.
It's a cool model. I like that he actually used. I'm betting it's Nurgle rot or whatever it is, the stuff in the on the base, and then he framed it in nicely with painting the base.
Yep.
Gotta love that. So, yeah, this was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
Well done.
Yes.
Water effects on the base.
No. Well, thank you, Jared, for entering that and letting us review it.
Great job.
So next up,
Fred the Goblin.
Fred the Goblin. Freddo.
So cute.
This is just plain and simple fun.
It's just fun.
It's just a fun model. Take a look at it here. What's not to love?
It's great.
It's Goblin, man.
It's even funnier, like, having a goblin model, considering the conversation we had earlier about the problem child in the coffee shop this morning that was screaming, and it sounded like a goblin.
Yep. And we're all a little bit of a dice goblin at times, so we're
Dice goblin, yeah. Goblin is a theme this morning.
Yep.
I think the flame is really well done.
Honestly, the model overall is really decently done. I think it needs highlights.
Yeah.
And it needs more to it and better coverage on things. But this is I want to say he's like 7, 8, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, if this is your D&D model and it's getting you on the table, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially for the age.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like, a lot of the critiques I would have that, sometimes it's like you try to grade on the curve because of age, but I'm just going to say grade it like we're not talking about age. The flames are really well done, and they could be used as a light source to highlight the rest of the model.
Well, and you can kind of even tell that they tried doing a little bit of OSL on the arm and the hand.
That could be drawn but we're talking like a theme throughout the day is making the head the emphasis,
right?
And you could draw that over to that side of his face.
Yeah, where it's like glowing because he's looking up, holding the torch. So it's
Yeah. Maybe a little bit on the knife.
Yeah, especially for reflection.
Add some attention to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, real fun model. Like, I was not painting models when I was 7.
Yeah.
No, neither was I.
So you're a lot cooler than I was when I was 7.
This cosplay here. I'm sorry. It's the Plum Bobs.
Oh, it is. Look at that. Got a bunch of Sims over here.
Yeah.
No, I think that this is fun. It definitely drew my eye when he put it in the case. And yeah, again, if you're not grading on a curve for it being the age that he's at, I would say, looking at some of the highlights and shadows on your armor, making sure that you're differentiating some of the textures and some of the different equipment, making sure that you're having the correct colors in the correct places, so you have those defining lines. Basing is always important. Framing your model in where they should be.
Maybe a little bit of red and pink inside the mouth.
Mm-hmm. Yep. They're goblins, man. They're rotting all over. But yeah, it's just a fun model for me.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
It's an awesome job.
Yeah.
Keep doing it.
Yeah, keep it up. I can't wait for next year to see how you've improved. Olin. It's Olin. Yeah. So thank you very much, Olin, for entering this in. So I'm going to switch to the next one.
Well, the next one would be David.
Oh, I don't want to talk about him.
We already did that.
Yeah,
We're done. Did that.
That's
We're on number 12
that's so an hour ago.
with Ethereal Drider, which this is John. This is the guy that we talked to quite a bit yesterday.
I wish we would have gotten him back in the seat because he runs a YouTube channel.
Yes. I wrote it down. I don't remember where I put it. It's the Mr. Mean Speaks, I believe is what it is.
Something like that.
He's local to Duluth, so he also is into miniature painting, and he was really stoked about this competition.
Yeah. It was really nice to talk to him, and we talked at length with him for a good long while about everything miniature related.
Yeah. And this was the gentleman who, like, I was talking about camaraderie and the community. And he's the gentleman who, he was running a game in another room, and I needed to paint something, and he wasn't using his table yet. And he was like, hey, go sit at my table. So I thanked him profusely for that, and I'm going to thank him again. Really cool guy.
Yeah, he's super nice. He was really excited about submitting this Drider. He was excited that he tried a different angle on painting it to make it more ethereal rather than actual physical spider lady.
Yeah. This model, I love the color scheme, and I love too that there's a true focal point, and something we've been pushing throughout the competition, talking about emphasis on where you want the viewer's eye to be, and this does a great job of that, with the emphasis clearly being on the human part of the Drider's torso,
Right.
and what a player would be focusing on if this was dropped on the table at them.
Right.
And I love the jade and the greens and the whites and the complementary green and yellows.
Well, even just bringing the highlights, so when you get to the front part of the model, bringing the highlights on the top knuckles of the spider body,
Yeah.
or the spider's legs, and just really is nice.
One thing I would consider, and I would say this for both of the models that I've looked at of his for this competition, that he has an ogre piece as well, is there's a lot of sheen and shine from what the finish is on it, and that can be a little bit distracting. I would consider using a matte varnish instead of a glossy one, unless you're really trying to show that texture as part of the model, it being wet.
Right.
That would be one thing I would say to take as a takeaway from that is what you choose as a varnish can become a distracting factor if you're not careful.
Well, another thing that you can also do, he obviously plays with his models, which is fine.
Yeah.
Crashes them together.
Yeah. If you want to do a gloss varnish, because then usually a gloss does protect a lot more than a matte varnish will. Do a gloss varnish, wait for that to cure and dry, and then hit it with a matte varnish.
Yep.
Then you won't have that glossiness. But what's fun is that after a while, when you start playing with it and stuff, you start seeing that gloss. You can just hit it back with a matte varnish again, and it's back.
Yeah,
right.
that's a good indicator. Great point. When you start to see if you do the gloss varnish and then do the matte over top of it, you start to see where the wear is going to be, and you can make sure that you're constantly protecting your model by putting that matte back on it.
Right. Do you want to shift over more so you can actually be seen?
Nah. I don't know why it's being goofy over there. Although, if I don't go into studio mode, my face looks just fine.
We're gonna pick up the $25 gift card to buy a Ford.
Yeah, we need your name and email,
Okay.
and then it'll be sent to you.
Just pen for you.
Congratulations.
Yeah, you can just write your first name, last name, and then the email that you want to use.
All right.
Pesky prize winners.
Anything else?
Right?
Anything else you'd like to add?
No, this model was really cool, and he said that it took him not too long to actually paint, or he had painted it really quickly. So just the fast turnaround that he had for it, it's a phenomenal model for what he has. I think that if he were to go back and he was talking about some of the shading down below, and we had some extensive kind of talks about what he could do to improve upon it. Always improving the color on some of the not the carapace, but the back, the thorax, whatever, of the spider lady. Adding some extra depth to it. Making sure that it's not just flat contrast or just a couple layers of contrast, because then you just get that streakiness, especially over it's the one bad thing about contrast over a surface like that, is that it just streaks everywhere instead of feeling like it's a single color. So adding in some extra colors or flattening it out would be helpful.
I would say, too, I would have gone darker with the base to sell a more underdark feel to it, and then you could have there's elements to the base that could be glowing, and you could sell that with more glowing looking paint on some of the elements there, like neon, or what are the fluorescent paints, sorry. And then like darker base would help draw the attention back up to the model. That sandy color is really the only part of the model that color appears on, so it does become, like we were talking about earlier, when you use a bright color on a base, it can be the first thing you look at and your eye stays there.
True. So,
Yep. But looks awesome. It's another fun model though, if you see it on a D&D table.
yeah, I
Very
would.
great.
I'd be just as scared. I'd be very scared.
Yep.
I fought that in Baldur's Gate. I don't want any part of it.
Yep.
Yeah, no, thank you.
No, I'm good.
Why did it have to be spiders? Why
But-
couldn't it be follow the butterflies?
They always do that. They always get me. Okay, moving on over another John special here. We got ourselves George.
George. Appropriately named George.
Yep, George.
And I think on this one, like what I was talking about with the gloss being a little bit of a distraction, it's more so for this model than the previous one.
Yeah.
I think the gloss really helped on the carapace of the more spidery bits. On the skin here, though, on this one, I feel like the gloss varnish is a little bit more of a distraction. And if there had been hit with a matte varnish over top of that to get rid of the shine, it would have helped the skin so much more.
I would agree. The glossiness that it had on this was, it needs a highlight and a shadow, but the glossiness is what really got me. Where I'm like, it feels a little too uniform in the varnish department.
Yeah.
And to your point, Kelsey, if you apply a gloss varnish, apply a matte varnish over top of it, especially if you're going to play, use it.
The exception being like if you're trying to like gloss the inside of something, you want it to look wet. Like if his mouth is open and you want his tongue.
In which case you would want to cover that. So even like a simple putty after you put the gloss varnish in, putty up where you want it to still be gloss, and then go over with a matte. That works great.
Yep.
Or you could use, like Citadel has Art Coat, which is a gloss varnish,
Yep.
and you can just be selective of where you want that to be glossy at.
Yeah, just use a brush instead of spray. Like I don't know if this was sprayed or painted on varnish, but like you can use gloss varnish on a brush, like just a regular paintbrush, and hit the area where you want it.
Right.
Whether it's an eye or if you want like the mouth to look wet in contrast to like dry skin and all that.
Right.
But it could also just be a very sweaty ogre. I mean,
Yeah, that could also be a very
or he just
valid option.
walked through a gelatinous cube. That could be.
He has a condition, okay?
He has a moist condition.
A moist condition. He's a moist boy.
Moist boy.
No, but it goes back to, John, I do want to say thank you so much for spending time here and talking shop and just...
We love that.
Yeah, that was great.
Great guy. I had fun talking to him while I was painting over at his table that he let me use, and great guy.
Yeah. So I'm failing to remember his YouTube channel because I feel horrible. Oh, is it... Did you find
Speaks.
Mr. Mean Speaks? Yeah, go check his stuff out. He does a ton of D&D stuff, a ton of Pathfinder stuff, tabletop RPGs. So, yeah, fantastic
And
individual.
hopefully we can see him maybe down in the Twin Cities for another.
Yeah, he was talking about heading down for OPR at Renegade and stopping by the painting competition. So,
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
yeah, it would be awesome to see him. So, thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we got ourselves
Odin.
the Golden Hormigott. He didn't even want to enter this in. He was like, I guess if I have to, I'll toss it in. And he held strong. He was the
Only model for a while.
the
in
only
Sci-Fi
model in
Single.
Sci-Fi Single for a while, which is an unusual thing to say. He pulled it out of his pocket and tossed it on the table.
and
I
it
was
looks like
like-
it might have a little pocket wear.
Yeah, a little pocket wear. It's patina.
Instead of pocket
Yeah.
sand, it's pocket wear.
Pocket wear.
I never
yeah.
would have thought of pocket as being a way to patina a model. But
Yeah, you know.
No, that's just how they got the idea for Pokemon is pocket monsters.
Oh, yeah, okay. Pocket Hormigott, yep. The biomass must be fed.
Yep.
Honestly, it's not a bad model. Like, the gold, I'll be honest, is really cool on this because it's not super bright. It's not super vivid. It has just enough that it pops. And it feels almost brassy or bronzy,
Yeah.
and I really like that.
With that wash over top.
Yeah,
It's a very unique skin tone for a Tyranid.
yeah,
So I'll give it credit for creativity on being different from what everybody else probably does for
Yeah.
Tyranids.
in a lot of ways, like if this was an entire army that was painted this way, it would look really cool.
Right.
I could really see it popping on the tabletop.
It is another example. We've not to beat the drum constantly, but another example of a base being distracting with the primary green
AstroTurf.
AstroTurf, and yeah, it looks like a golfing
It's a golf
putting
course, yeah.
Just need to put a little hole in there
Oh man, that'd be
and a golf ball.
That would be pretty funny.
done.
Not to joke, not to make light of it, but
Yeah.
It goes to what we've been talking about with making color choices on a base that become a distraction. This does that.
Yep.
If you put like even a coat of contrast brown paint over top of that green to tamp it down, it would do wonders. It would bring in some of the browns you have from your model down to the ground, and it would do a great job of making that not look like AstroTurf.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Or even if you wanted to add bubble effect.
Yeah, so it looks like acid, but that would add like a yellow to it as
Yeah,
well.
right. If you
know.
wanted to really push that as a feature, definitely do some fluorescent yellow paint, like, and fade into the green. But overall, like, just adding some contrast to this would also do wonders.
Yeah, it would. It would help kind of frame in the model so that you're looking up at the model rather than looking down. So, and then of course, you know, rimming the base. It did a good
It
job.
looks
of
like
that.
it once was.
It once was that pocket wear.
It's that pocket wear.
It's like
Commit to
a
the
Tyranid
bit.
that you might find like 25 years from now
Yeah.
in an antique shop. Has sold us like it's just this very patinaed.
You know what?
base.
It's seen love. It's had its moment in the sun. It's been loved. There's nothing wrong with that.
Nope, nothing wrong with it at all.
I just love the fact that somebody would, like, pop a model out of their pocket to submit
It
it.
was such a moment. It was such a just. He's like, oh yeah, I suppose I have one. Pulls it out of his pocket. I was like,
That's baller. That is a baller move.
like way to flex on everyone else that entered. You know, like carefully placing their mind. Yeah, here you go.
There you go.
What a moment. Well, thank you, Odin, for
Times.
entering that in. It was such a fun, unique thing. So I have to change something. So you'll have to pander. Hold on.
Well, on the exciting thing is we're gonna be seeing another crab
Shell. Hermit crab
monster.
shell monster.
Yep. For this next
It's
one.
a theme of Duluth is like they just pull these people or these models out of the lake.
I like that idea.
I like that.
You have to fend off the 50-pound goldfish that people release in there. As, like, they get tired of having them as pets, and goldfish grow. Like they grow to the size of the whatever they're living in, so they can become these huge, like, catfish type creatures.
You know what would be cool? Not griping on what the model is right now, but it would be cool if they had a riding creature that was a sturgeon,
There you go.
a lake sturgeon.
Okay.
Kind of like the Ida Deathkin, but then doing more on top of it.
Have it be the Minnesota style Yashiri Betcha, style
I
army.
love that idea.
That'd be fun. All right, so we got Neil, and Neil has a Crabman. Crabman
Crabman.
champion. He's crabby. So, I like that the difference between this and the other model is that this guy's like armor and like, you know, moving parts are glossy and the shell is matte. And I really like the matte shell. It feels more natural than the other one did. Or they both felt natural in their own way, but I really like his application of this.
I actually talked to Neil about this one this morning, actually, and he said that he fell in love with the barnacles.
I do too, yeah. I think
Barnacles
that,
are really cool.
yeah, they had a certain flavor.
And I like that, you know, there's a definite contrast in color between the shell and this, like the red really helps separate things.
Yeah.
Not to say, you know, in a negative way compared to the other models, that were more one note as far as the tones between the actual figure color and the shell.
Yeah.
But this really does a great job of separating the elements a little bit more. I think that there could be more highlighting on the red to help with the dimensionality of it.
Yeah, I would agree. It's a little bit overwashed, but just adding a few highlights on the tops of the shoulders and edge highlighting on like the arm pauldrons or even the top of his head would.
I was going to say that the top of the head always gets me as being it's really dark compared to the rest of the model. So having that would be, having that highlight and pop up would be really nice. I like the tongue being a very distinct blue. So it feels alien, but it doesn't feel like it's not part of the same model. It's not part of the same kind of color palette. It's its own unique kind of punch, but it's contrasty enough where it stands out. But it's not so outlandish that it takes away.
Right.
I also think you can highlight this darker red with more of an orange highlight to really gradate into the orange rather than like picking a different tone of red.
Yeah.
And it would help as well. Like,
Yeah,
especially on the head. I think the head needs some attention to really make it the focal point.
Yeah.
And I also think that you could do more on the sword.
Yes.
Because right now it's very one-tone white-ish, sandy-ish, and it could use some browns in there to kind of give it some contrast in spots to push that a little bit more.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
Give it the same attention that you gave to the shell.
Sure.
Yeah, something to punch it up a bit, or give it some contrast between the darks and the lights. So, yeah, very cool. I greatly enjoy all the shells.
I like the shell theme of Duluth.
Yeah, right now. Yeah, it's been
reminds
pretty.
me of a kid. I'm from the East Coast, and I did a lot of vacationing with my family in Ocean City, Maryland. And I owned about probably 7 hermit crabs as a child.
I love hermit crabs.
They're so crabby.
They're actually really good pets. Honestly, they're really chill and they're very enjoyable.
Yeah, and it's fun to like give them a whole bunch of shells to choose from, and that's what I'm like. It's really taking me back to my childhood with these. I don't know what theme happened in Duluth to have all these, but I'm happy for it.
Yeah. All right, we got Tyler.
Who walked up on us here a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And this will probably be my final model that I help give critiques for. I got to head out of here at 12:30, and we're 10 minutes in. Or
10 minutes.
got 10 more minutes, and I got to go.
I thought we were 10 minutes into 12:30.
No, but
That's
sure.
quite the minute.
That is quite the minute, and then we'll probably take a quick 5 minute. So, but in any case, yeah.
It's almost lunchtime. You guys need some food too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Perhaps a pretzel.
Perhaps a pretzel.
Perhaps a pretzel.
Perhaps a pretzel. So this actually took the Jim Spur Award, the Owl Bear, as
Most creative.
yeah, most creative. There's real twine
Yeah.
that the model is holding on
that's
to,
awesome.
so it's really fun. This is just, it captures a bit of that exploration and fun in model building that I think sometimes gets lost with other people. Where this is also, it's a Kings of War model, so they definitely, it's for play. But what I like about Kings is that sometimes you can, because you have the entire base to play with and you just have to have the representation of whatever you're using, people get really creative with it on what you can use and how you can use it. And I think that this does a good job of being a scene, and it's very playable as a model, but it also indicates what's going on. This orc guy is leading his riding mammoth ahead
Through the snow,
and it really feels like it's there.
Yep.
It does, in a lot of ways, like critiques for me are like you could add snow, you could add elements, you could do highlights, but it's just fun.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
Yeah. And that was my takeaway too when we saw this model come in. I was like, just really fun, and like makes me want to paint a mammoth, and that's like a big compliment to.
Yeah.
Like we were talking about that. It's like, you know, whether there's critiques, there's valid critiques to this model. If it's fun and it makes somebody else want to paint it, then
you've won.
done a great job.
Yeah.
But to the point, and adding some critiques to this, while the snow effect is painted on the mammoth, like adding some actual
Flocking snow.
Just like a solid, because right now, like it borders on, is this snow or is it a aging mammoth that's turning gray, or so like adding some snow effect, actual paste, like similar to what you've done on the base, to the top of the mammoth and to certain parts where snow would accumulate, rather than painting it on, would help sell that effect.
Like on the saddlebags,
or even on top of the mammoth.
Yeah,
like,
on top of the mammoth, in between the armor panel at the top for where
on the
saddle.
tusks.
Well, and that goes into weathering powders too. You could always do snow weathering powders on the feet in certain places where snow would kind of collect to even just get the rough idea.
Yeah, and if you like look at snow, like a good reference point would look at a photo of a bison in the winter at Yellowstone.
Yeah.
And how the snow is actually packed on top of the animal. Like you could add, like here you have painted strands that are white, and the hairs are painted white. You need that pack, like of solid.
Yep.
To really sell that it's snow rather than white hair.
This, to me, it never struck me as white hair nearly as much as like hoarfrost that's on the mammoth itself. It's buildup of that
hair
snow.
that is also icicles.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it struck me as, because there's like elements where you can tell that if it was white, this might be trying to or not, but there's elements and areas where it feels like he intentionally missed.
Yeah.
It being like white.
But having that solid, like how you have the solid pack of snow on the brick or the stone on top of the mammoth, would help make no question about it.
Exactly.
And that's just that one thing that you could do to
really
really
just,
push that effect and
really,
sell it, and make no doubts to your viewer that that's what you were doing.
Yep. I think like the other critique that I had was the saddlebags. Everything has an overwash element to it. Mm-hmm. Be careful and be controlled in your washing, and you can always apply more than one layer of wash to the model, and make sure that you're being careful with that pooling, so that you're not getting that pooling effect, that coffee staining effect, and
don't be afraid to go back over the wash to add your highlights back in.
Yeah.
Because like you have that nice tannish like hide color that you covered over with the brown. On the top of it, especially, like at the top of the bag, the top of the flap, like paint back over that with your base color just to add the highlights back in, and it'll add the dimensionality back into it.
That's pretty funny.
Right.
That's his model.
That's awesome, man. So, anyone could submit paint? Is that going to be judged?
Yeah. So we actually took submissions yesterday. Yeah. And then we judged them overnight. And then right now we're recording our. No, you're fine. No,
that's part of the interaction.
Yeah, it's part of the interaction.
It's beautiful, man.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So, but yeah, if you have a model, we'll be here next year. We'll be at Renegade Open. So if you're down and in the area, bring a model in, and we'd love to judge it. There you go. See how it goes. But I back to the train of thought. I'm trying to remember where it was.
Highlighting leather.
Highlighting,
the leather.
Yeah, I think that's that just takes time and exercise in practice, because he has it in some areas, like under the trunk, but just being careful with that coffee staining or that pooling is really where I think
just adding the highlights back in.
Yeah.
That's a good thought, and I really love too the little armor shield bit with the spike on it.
Yep.
I thought he did a good job on that. Could add some more maybe shadow underneath the spike, and just think about dimensionality of things. I think overall did a really good job thinking about that, but little areas where you could add that back in and just think about the 3 dimensions that you're trying to imply with the paint.
Yeah,
For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you, Tyler, for entering this because it's
Thank you,
it's a
Tyler, for
fantastic,
entering
yeah,
the model. Thank you,
fantastic piece.
David, for coming
Yes.
in and giving your thoughts on some of these models.
Absolutely, it's
And
good to be
inter-
on the other side of the screen, and not only lending my thoughts on my model, where I passed or where I failed, but to try to help others and get my
Yeah.
perspective. So
I mean, again, it's a community thing, so we're always trying to boost each other up and making sure that we're able to accelerate everyone else.
absolutely,
So
give different perspectives,
Yeah.
different thoughts, different point of views.
yeah, exactly. So, well, we will be right back as we kick David out. And
Heading
Maybe we
back
can
down
get
to the
some
Twin
lunch.
Cities.
yeah, what's that?
Maybe we can get some lunch.
Maybe get some
I
lunch.
see 2 pretzels in your future.
Oh boy. So, yeah, if you just hold tight, we'll be right back.
See you guys.
On.
Girl.
Oh.
I gotta turn my.
Yep. You got to turn yours on. See. Hey.
Hey.
Hold on. And then we'll
There's a thing.
transition to the judges. We're here. We're
Hey.
back. We're back, and
Are we moving though?
I don't know. We're somewhere. Anyway. All right. Welcome back.
The camera's not moving.
No, the camera's. No. Oh my goodness.
Oh my.
You'd think we'd done this before.
You know, it's our first time. Why not?
I think the camera died.
No. Well, we don't
Maybe.
need a judge's
No,
camera though.
Maybe not.
Maybe he just went with sleep.
Oh no, it's very dead. It's very dead. Okay, well, here we are. All right, folks, you don't get a camera on us anymore. The judges are no longer in existence on camera, so you just have to suffer through looking at the cool models.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know. So last we left off, we were looking at the Boomer Chariot
By
from
Tyler.
Tyler. So next up, we've got the Fairy Queen.
Yep, by Kyle.
By Kyle. So let me get that up and running. Hopefully everyone's doing well out there. Sorry for the break. We are. It's always a little bit of a moment out here.
Yep.
So we got some good entries so far.
Yeah.
Been a lot of fun.
Sorry, it was focused on handing out some badges. That's new to the con.
That's ooh, new to
for
the con,
Dwarven,
okay.
for at least
All right.
for Dwarven Hacks at least,
Yeah.
giving out little badges along
Yeah,
the way.
we've been handing out the tokens, the badges, or what are they called? Ribbons.
Ribbons.
Yeah, ribbons here. So it's been a cool.
So we have two different ribbons. We have the Axe Shoppers, which is people who just are stopping by, visiting, asking questions, that sort of stuff. And
Yep.
then we have the participation ribbon.
Oh yeah.
So when you submit a model, you get a participation ribbon.
Yeah, it's a slick little thing. Kelsey was kind enough to take that on, and she knocked it out of the park, I will say.
People have been liking them.
Yeah, they've been a lot of fun.
Something different.
Something different. All right.
All right, Fairy Queen.
Fairy Queen. So, this is the Fairy Queen from Kyle. Very cool model. I'm not saying that because I printed it, but just because it's actually a really cool model. It's very dynamic. There's a lot
I really
going on.
really like how he did the wings.
Yeah, I do too. Like, they really do pop nicely. I like the carapace on the back, the kind of purplish maroon color that it is.
The mauve.
Yeah, the mauve. That's a word. That's a word I guarantee you Jacob would hate.
Mauve.
Mauve. But
Along with puce.
Puce. He hates puce. I don't understand why. But overall, this model, we're going to see a couple from Kyle come in and out. And in a lot of ways, Kyle was getting these onto the table for the event itself. And so I know that he didn't have a ton of time to paint them, but he has paint on them for the event. I think it's a great starting point for where he is, because it just has enough where it punches up. It's a good base tone to start from, and he has a lot of where he could go with this without it being overtly done.
Right.
But he's given himself enough room where he can grow it or leave it.
Right.
And so I'm excited to see what he does with it overall. If there's anything more that he's going to do. Honestly, I think that he could leave the wings alone.
Yeah, I think the wings are fine the way they are. I feel like a lot of it is just really dark right now.
Yeah.
But it just needs highlights and some brighter colors. Fairy Queen, I always think of it being very bright and vivid and whimsical almost. But you could also have your turn of making it really dark and gritty.
Yeah, and I think that having the dichotomy between the Fairy Queen herself and the beetle-ishness of her back, I guess, being very different is helpful, because then it doesn't make it feel any more. There's a certain dichotomy between them, so that you can pick each individual piece out much easier.
Right.
So, but I really think that that's a positive for this piece overall. And yeah, I want him. I'd encourage him to keep doing it.
Oh yeah, and even if he wanted to keep working on it and then submit it again, like I would
Yeah.
love to see where he takes it.
Yeah, I think he earned a bronze coin on this, so
Yep.
having some forward momentum and getting him into the next kind of stages would be beneficial to see where this would evolve to in the future. So
Yeah.
thank you, Kyle.
Thanks, Kyle, for that one. We'll see a few more here in a little bit from him.
Oh,
We're
yeah,
gonna
we
hop
will.
to Jeff though, real quick. Jeff with his fantasy single for Pegasus Dude.
Awesome.
I really like the colors that he decided to do with this Pegasus model.
I didn't capture the base, but I do want to make mention that the base was phenomenal. It was
Yes.
very pretty. It had a lot going on. It had like nice tufts. You'll see it in a couple models from him, but it had like a fall
fall
feel.
theme.
Yeah, fall brush kind of theme. It was very cool. Thoroughly enjoyed it. So, but yeah. Well, I'm gonna get the next video queued
Okay.
up here. But if you have any thoughts on
I
it.
really liked for this Pegasus Dude, the reds were nice and bright and vibrant, with also having the depth of the ripple effects of the showing that the Pegasus was actually flying through the air and giving that motion into the cloth. I thought the white on the actual skin of the Pegasus was really well done. Or it's chalky in some places on the wings, but I think it's mostly because of the dry brush aspect.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
hard. It's hard to dry brush white.
It needed, yes, because it needs more depth than just kind of a simple dry brushing on top, because it can really go chalky, and you can kind of miss the overall feel that you'd want from it, because you want it to not be chalky. You want it to be kind of a consistent color, but if you're not careful, you'll get this chalky effect, and that can be really difficult to work with. So. In a lot of ways, I think that other than the wings, I think that might be the biggest detractor for me. The decal work, the freehand like writing was phenomenal on this piece. The colors all felt really laid out well, and it had such a good like overall unique feeling when it went to the skin on the Pegasus, or the horse, I suppose. It's a Pegasus.
Right.
I think that was a really cool, like, not application, but the definition that it had was really positive for me. It's just the wings that kind of dragged it down for me overall, because I wish that it had more to them. But this was, honestly, this was a top contender in the competition this time around. Just for quality of model application.
Yes, it was very well done. It was tough to choose for being a top contender. What would win? So
yeah, absolutely. So thank you, Jeff. Thank you, Jeff, for entering. And actually,
Yes.
next up we have another Jeff.
yes, his unit category
Yeah.
is horse dudes.
We have horse dudes. Horse dudes are beautiful.
Yes.
Just right off the bat, the differences between the horses themselves really steps up. And it's such a beautiful piece to look at. Because everything is in the same vein, the same style,
Right.
without it being different,
Well, especially with his basing, the way he did his basing incorporates all of his models that he submitted this time around.
Yeah, it definitely did. So it didn't feel like it was. They definitely felt like they were part of the same army, without it feeling like it was a completely different different model. Or what am I trying to say? It felt like it was part of the same army without it feeling like they were all the same model. So which is always a good sign of applying your techniques across your entire army, and keeping it consistent. So that was really cool to see.
Right. And then having the different colorations of the different horses, it's not all just a one-trick pony.
Yep.
That's also really nice.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting distracted over here by all this cosplay that keeps walking by.
Right.
It's crazy.
And I'm
It's
getting
crazy.
distracted a little bit by my partner in crime messaging me.
That's how it goes. All right. Things that I would improve on. Some of the metallics need a little bit of extra work on them. Some definition and depth to them. Like the skin tones on the horses are phenomenal. The skin tones on the faces are really good. I just think some of the metallics feel a little flat. They feel like they were just painted with one thing, and maybe having a pin wash, and then they were left alone from there, which is fine for like just your average army. But I think overall it could use some additional love, you know. So I'm a little, and that can be a focus for the army overall. Is that metallic that's on there?
Right.
So splitting it up would be helpful, because it, other than the brass kind of gun bell thing, there's not really a difference between the armor and the weapons. And if it had a little bit more to it, some discoloration, some rust, something to pop it, that would be awesome.
Or even doing like a wash of a deep blue might accentuate a little bit.
Yeah, kind of give that gunmetal, the oiled gunmetal on top would be really good. Mm-hmm. But
all right, very cool.
Yeah, actually, something else that I'm noting on the some of the horses' bridles, what are they called? The reins, they're painted on the sides but not the top, and so the rest of it just turns into the skin color. And I think it needs more on those like reins than he has already put. So
It's fair.
but, yeah. Overall, fantastic piece. Love it a lot. Thank you so much,
Thanks,
Jeff,
Jeff.
for entering them in. And actually with this, he took his category. So
Yes, he
it was
did.
really, really cool.
It was a nice win.
All right, next up we've got
Kyle.
Kyle with
Bulbasaur and
Bulbasaur and Friends. I feel like it needs like a soundtrack or a theme, something to really be bright and happy about.
Right.
You know, Bulbasaur and Friends.
Do 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 do.
Hey, I don't want to get copy struck.
It's just enough.
Yeah, that's fair. But yeah, this was just fun. It's a very fun piece. People actually thought that it was a lot of kit bashing. This is a print.
Yep.
Everything on here is a print. But I love all of the different colors that he has on the like leaf wolves or leaf foxes, whatever they are.
Wolves.
Wolves, yeah. Brush wolves.
I like that he decided to do multiple different colors.
Yes.
They're not all just one color. There's like a fall theme, kind of like a winterish, bluish purple.
Yeah.
Then you got like a nice dark blue, and then you have that red in the back.
Yep, there's like pinks and, like you said, pinks, purples, blues, and there's greens and reds, oranges, yellows. It really pops super well, where it doesn't, I feel like I can look around the model and find something new every time.
Right.
I'm not just kind of, I don't want to say bored, but I'm not just looking at the same green, And he could have really easily stuck with just that, but because he didn't.
He did not.
He did not.
It pops, and then he added some of the similar colors to the base as well, so it's just cohesive.
Yep. I think improving, adding some highlights, making sure that it's not just washed out or contrasted out, I guess should be the new phrase, contrasted out. Adding more to the base, so it's not just a flat kind of green astroturf with some tufts, some flowers.
Well, no, that's simple enough. You can just diversify some of the basic materials that you use.
Yeah.
So adding in I know Gamer's Grass has those metal ferns and stuff that you could use, and
Yep.
you can bend those in certain places.
Yep,
And
some fake plants from Michael's or something like that.
some
too.
rocks.
Some rocks.
Gotta have some good rocks.
Rocks. But yeah, I think adding some diversification with just the flat green as well, so it became more than just green, would be helpful here too. Because some of it is just flat in
Yeah.
that greenness, so you lose some of the model in there with that, so which is a bummer. But yeah.
Yeah, very cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Kyle. I think we have some more upcoming from Kyle. Actually, the next one,
Is the next one is Pixie Night.
the Pixie Night. Unicorns.
Pixie Night. I thought the white was really well done.
Yeah, the white is really well done, and it goes back to the wings also being helpful with it. Really nice with just having a contrast and some dry brush.
Right.
You know, it doesn't need to be a lot. It just needs to be enough, and that's what's fun about it.
Right. I wish that he would have been able, and I know that he had these in a short amount of time, so he painted them up to be able to use them for his tabletop gaming.
Yep.
Just adding more highlights to the Pixie to bring attention to the Pixie riding the unicorn as well would be nice. The wings
Yeah.
are great. You can look at the front part of the Pegasus, and then, or not the Pegasus, the unicorn, and then up to the wings, but then you kind of lose the face in the middle.
Yeah, I feel like this goes back to some of the critique that I have, is that because he didn't have enough time, it feels like it's just base coated. It's just enough
Right.
that that it doesn't. It needs more, you know.
Right.
And I think that's kind of where my critiques come from, is that the more that's needed, it needs to pop more instead of just being contrasted out or washed out. And I think he's got a good start to this, where it could be much more than what it is. And I kind of want to pull up the full video here for us to look at. That's not it.
That's the next one.
That's the next one. The fun gal. I think, again, splitting up the basing would be beneficial, but yeah, the fairy rider herself, it needs something. If you're going to use those dark colors, you need to be able to brighten it back up. Otherwise, you're just going to lose the feeling of it being a bright and whimsical kind of thing.
Right.
So, I don't know if you had other thoughts.
No, I think that's pretty much it for right now, at least.
Cool.
Very
Yeah,
cool.
I'd be excited to see this back.
Oh yeah. Like all of his pieces, I would love to see him come back with some improvements. That would be great.
Yeah, I agree. They're just fun.
Yeah.
Whimsy.
Whimsical.
Whimsical.
We love whimsical.
Next up is also Kyle with a fun gal.
Fun gal.
Fun gal.
Just a fun gal.
It's a fun gal. She's fun. I really like the red. It's striking.
Right.
It's bright. Very eye-catching, especially as opposed to the flower staff that she has being black.
The black rose.
The black rose. In all honesty, I really like this as a model overall because it is playing against that green, and I think he did a really good job with the red. Mm-hmm. The other elements on this, I would love to see more of.
Oh yeah.
So the green being highlighted a bit more. The wings look really good and pair out nicely, but just making sure that he's being tight about what he's using for colors and where would be beneficial,
Right.
in my opinion. But like overall, the piece itself is standout, and this is all part of the same army. So working together, they look really cool together. Mm-hmm. But again, looking at just a singular piece, I think it kind of falls flat. It needs more. It needs more highlighting. It needs more blending. It needs more color
Yeah.
to it.
Well, and you can add that color in by adding in your orange. You could add an orange in with your red to get a red-orange to get your highlights instead of. You can see that you're trying to go more pink too, so it's. But even you can use the red orange to bring it to a pink.
Yeah.
So at least it'll give you more like that velvet look.
Yeah.
Or the just satin.
Yeah, or even doing things like adding some texture in there beyond just brush strokes or edge highlighting. So like sponge techniques on there to give it extra texture and depth would be really beneficial in my eyes. So.
And basing.
Yeah, and universally as well, basing. Adding in a tactical rock.
Tactical rock, tactical fern.
Yeah. Yeah, things of that nature would be fun. So.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah. Thank you, Kyle, for all of your additions.
Yeah. Hope to see
all of
them
your
again.
entries. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I'm excited for more. Let's see here. Next up.
Khal Drogo.
Drago. This if I recall correctly, took the win in Sci-Fi Single.
It did.
His non-metallic metals are a good start.
Yes.
I would say. Overall, I like the build of this model. I like the color palette. I like the application. The banner is really cool. Like everything about this model screams that he took the time to really sink into how what he thought this model should be, because it's a kit bash. It's a completely unique kind of model. So he had to strip off all the stuff on the shield. So it took time and effort to actually get to this point, because it's not an original model. It's like a Terminator mixed with a Blade Guard veteran, and a couple other models that are in there. So.
Well, and then just at his age too, just wanting to make that model happen.
Yeah.
And then taking the strides to doing that kind of a kit bash, and then not only that, attempting non-metallic metal.
Yeah.
Like, that's huge.
Yeah.
I can only imagine what he can do in the future if he continues to push himself even farther.
Yeah, I really do agree. And I don't like looking at this model. It definitely, I would say, like, some critiques that I have are like, boost your shadows. With non-metallics, you can get really bright, but you need to make sure that you contrast that with deep tones to make it so that the brights feel brighter. So like in the golds, adding browns or purples. In the silvers, adding blues or browns to be kind of the sky or ground colors. So there's elements that he could do to improve upon it, but it's just tightening his abilities and skills.
Well, and it's the thing with all of his blending is like it's consistent throughout his entire model, which is I think part of the reason why he got nabbed the win anyways. But I'd like to see you improve upon smoothing those gradients out.
He's here.
No, I'm there.
Oh yeah. Well, we're
live.
We're recording. We're live.
Are you live?
We're live.
The camera died on us, so they can't see
If only
us.
somebody was in IT and knew how to work things.
It should have been charging.
Excuses are like assholes. Everybody's got one.
Everybody's got one.
Everybody's got one.
I know. Well, at least this works. So, but you're here to pick up your stuff?
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
unless you don't want to.
You of course can. Absolutely. If you want to sit down and talk shop as well too.
My wife and kid are in
See John from what's this YouTube channel?
Mr. Mean speaks.
Mr. Mean speaks. He doesn't want to talk to us. He's too
I do.
important.
You
got-
said you're not recording. Oh, you're
We are
We're
recording right now.
audio.
Oh.
See?
We're recording audio.
Well, hey, if you haven't stopped by Mr. Bean Speaks on YouTube, you probably should.
That's true. That's
Because
true.
You can get RPG reviews and commentaries.
Here, you want to here?
Oh. RPG reviews and commentaries. We talk about role-playing games, tabletop games, video games sometimes, movies. We're a bunch of nerds.
Yeah.
And Dwarven Axe,
Yeah.
super cool site. If you haven't checked it out, you should. I'll be putting a link to their Discord on my Discord.
Oh,
I
that'd
joined
be
the
awesome.
Discord last night,
Yeah.
and everybody was super awesome.
Yeah.
So, except that Kelsey lady.
Yeah.
Little iffy, her. I don't know.
Yeah,
But
you know.
I haven't seen any of her miniatures she supposedly painted. I didn't
Well,
see
I was
any.
meaning to show you some yesterday, but you kept being IT and talking IT.
Oh, now it's our fault. Yeah, see how that is? All right, I'll give it back.
Yeah. Thanks much. Appreciate it. What's up? Model? Yeah. Yeah, you can just grab your model. Feel free.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you for entering. Appreciate it.
George, I forgot I named him.
You call him George, yeah.
We talked about George.
Did you talk about
Yeah,
Yeah,
we talked
did.
about George.
We're talking about all models, actually.
We're on model number 23.
23, yeah. So,
But I also like that his blending, you could tell between his metallics and versus his cape.
yes. Yeah,
There's a difference.
There's definitely a difference. I would say one of the aspects that I wanted to see more of and something more to it was the basing. It felt very flat. It actually had a really good. The color tone was really cool, and I greatly appreciated it. I thought it was really cool. It just needs more to it. So it's this kind of, I don't want to say dystopian, but kind of irradiated desert kind of feel, and I want more to it. So, some other debris or plants or shrubs or something.
I can see that.
Something to help pull more than just rock,
I get that.
So,
37.
37.
And I got bronze.
So,
I got an honorable mention.
so the coins.
Well, explain the coins here.
Yeah, the coins. The coins are actually where if you enter in and you're on your way to having a really well painted model, you're on your journey. You get a bronze.
Participation trophy.
Yeah, more or less. But it truly is some people will come back with a model and they'll improve their coin level. Silver is somewhere between 50% and 75-80%, and then gold is 80 to 100%, where it's you're carrying it on.
Well,
So,
like I said, I painted those for these guys.
yeah.
Right.
Thank you. They
Yeah.
had a blast. So
Oh, there you go.
really.
That's
And
worth it.
When I walked up, the shelf was there's one model sitting up there, and I was like,
Well, yeah.
no, hey, I support you guys.
Yeah.
Well, and
Great people. Dwarven axe.
oh,
Check it
appreciate it. And with a bronze coin as well, it's a way to gauge where you're at for improvement, and
Like
so
I
you
said,
can.
I painted these 2 days ago.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly.
I just slapped them together to get them ready for this.
Yeah.
I found out Tuesday they wanted me here.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with having a good D&D model. So
You
it's
saw the big one I posted, right?
Yeah.
And then, what's his name? The bald guy.
David.
David.
Yeah.
Oh, he got
He won. He won best
Yeah,
overall.
he won best overall.
Of course he did.
Yeah.
I think they're
Well, you are, but yeah, that's part of the
No,
fun.
you're all good.
No, you're all fun. You're all fun. Yeah, it's fine.
It's part of the live streaming
Yeah.
aspect.
Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you for
entering
Matthew.
this. Yeah,
I
thank
know
you,
that he
Matthew.
was really excited about winning. So
Yeah. It's always good to see people excited. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are you guys are awesome.
Doing
I
our
love
best.
what you do.
Thanks so much.
You were fun to talk to. I know you're not an IT.
I'm a custodian.
He's got a lot of opinions. That's what I'm hearing.
I promise I'll be posting some pictures of some stuff. You can look in the Discord. There's stuff in there.
Checks in the mail.
Well, here's the thing: is that just so you're aware, at Q4, and I'll mention it in here
yeah,
too.
here we go.
So we're actually doing a judging bust paint off.
Yep.
So we
Yeah.
are painting the exact same bust. We all have our own, and then the community gets to vote on the best one
Yep. Last time she won
by one vote.
by one vote.
We got to put pictures up.
They're,
Discord. It doesn't cost anything.
they're
They're
in
on
there.
Discord.
Are they?
Yes.
I get where?
In the
gotta search
probably
for 'em.
finished.
Do you know how many pictures there are on Discord?
Shit, how many did I put up last
Yeah,
night?
right. Yeah, you're part of the problem. You are the
I
problem.
am the problem.
You are the
I
problem.
know. I'm a hound. Once I bite, you're gonna regret me on this.
Nah, not yet.
This guy.
Not yet. You got to go back a ways.
Yeah, you have to really.
Listen,
I'll check.
It's on there. I swear.
This isn't about us. This isn't about us.
But I swear. So I have basically mine done because usually we do it at Q3.
Look at the look on his face. He's like, I'm the problem.
Yeah, I am the problem.
So, but we discussed it and we figured that Renegade end of the year would probably be better to do it anyways.
October, right?
November. No,
So
the weekend before Thanksgiving.
So
I'm going on a 10-day cruise.
That helps.
I leave Friday this week.
well,
I was
that'll
gonna
be
say
fun.
there's also for you OPR and painting down that way and hanging out with a bunch of nerds, skirmish games and such too. So
The beat grinder.
the grinder. Yeah, so it's a free for all gladiatorial game.
Is that the one you were telling me about?
Yeah, where you have to you
Kit bash.
kit bash and then you quickly paint a model and then you throw it in the arena and then you battle it out, and if you lose, if your model dies,
Smash.
no, they clip off the head and then put it with the person that killed you, and then your arm.
Most heads.
Yeah, but then whatever is left of your model gets
Goes
thrown
in.
into a meat grinder and then you grind it.
I'm down.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun.
It's
Yeah,
super
it's
fun.
a great event.
And then David, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
The guy with the giant.
Yeah.
He gave me the card for that guy that does the clear.
Peter.
Yes,
Yeah.
Peter. Yep. Daedalus
I
Studios.
sent him a message already asking what
Awesome.
kind of resin he's using. It was like this spider.
Oh yeah.
Not a big deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Like I said, I looked it up real quick. And I
Yeah.
use Sunway ABS Lake,
Ah, yes, Sunny. Yeah.
which has been really great, but it is a little bit, depending on the part, it's fiddly.
Yeah.
It's snap.
Yeah.
Right.
I do like their PLA and PET G for printing, FDM printing. Yeah. Yeah, it's really phenomenal.
Like top marks.
Yeah, Sunwoo is
ABS Lake is getting good reviews.
good.
But it's still, I mean, all of those resins are great.
Yeah.
So if you can, like, if there's a Soraya Tech Clear, that's a little.
I don't remember if there is, not for fast, but you'll have to see.
Yeah, I'm going to research it
Yeah, yeah.
today. I mean,
For sure.
I fell asleep on I have a giant beanbag in my studio.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Yeah, I got back to the hotel
Oh,
room
cool.
last night, and my mom was like, "Are you tired?" I'm like, "No." And then I laid in bed, and I'm like, "Oh."
All right.
I told my wife,
Either you got to pull up a chair.
oh, I gotta go.
You got to either pull up a chair or you got to
I
leave.
enjoyed chatting with you guys so much, though. It's so
Yeah.
much fun.
Yeah,
David
no.
was awesome.
Yeah, it's just fun to hang out and talk shop
You
the
guys
whole
are out
time.
in Plymouth, right?
We're everywhere in the cities.
But you're down there.
Yeah, we're down there.
Because like I said, I go to the cities every other month.
Yeah.
And we normally get a hotel.
Yeah, toss a message. We'll make
Right.
we'll make
Be
sure.
like, "Hey,
something
we're in the
will happen.
neighborhood. Where
Yeah.
can we paint?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm at the, I go down there only to go to the source.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And we take my son. There's an autistic indoor playground.
Ooh, yeah.
So we take him there. And
Yeah.
we just go shopping and hang out for the weekend.
Yeah.
So it's nothing for me to pack up a couple six-siders.
Yep.
For sure.
Head on down, play some
Tell the wife,
games.
You know, hey, I'm going to be over here. You know, and it might be a situation where I might need a ride. Worst case.
Something could happen. Toss a message out.
We could probably figure it out.
happen.
Burlap sack, duct tape. Don't worry.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
Well, just-
Trunk looks real nice.
You know those straps work pretty well on a roof. I heard.
Yeah, they do. Hey, you gotta lose somewhere. Take it easy.
See you later.
Later, man.
Yeah.
Thank you. Hey, we're empty. All right, cool. Everybody's got their models. That's always good. All right, next up. I'm so sorry, folks.
Yeti by Billy.
But you know, that community is what this is all about. So,
Yep.
so Billy had this model. This thing is fun.
Yeah.
This thing's so cool.
I know that this model got a special love with some videocaster people here today.
Yeah, there was a news crew out. Hopefully, we'll have that up and as a link at some point. But yeah, so if your models are displayed, we'll definitely let folks
Mention
know.
it.
Yeah, mention it. But yeah. Billy had brought this over as kind of I don't know, I guess I'll enter something in, and it turned out to be a fantastic crowd pleaser. So
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Turned a lot of heads. Honestly, the biggest critiques that I have are the fur that it has on the Yeti and the base are too similar. The colors are too similar in tone and color.
You can see that he tried to change a bit of the color toward the top to be more bluish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I like
then keep
that
it more to
transition.
keep it more blacks and grays toward the
Yeah.
bottom, but having a little bit more differential is always good.
Yeah, I think if he would have had a little more of that differentiation, maybe a little green, a touch of green, like a blue green would have helped too. Oddly enough, this is well highlighted for like dry brushing,
Right.
But it feels like it doesn't have the color differentiation that you want for for having multiple layers of color. There's not enough depth to it, so it's nicely highlighted. It has some shades. It's well done, but it just needs more of the color palette to pull it forward, and for the base to be rimmed. I think would frame it in nicely for me.
For sure. Even if you were to go with like the pale yellow or sand yellow to get those top highlights toward the face on some of the blue,
Oh, yeah.
mix in with some of that light blue and then just get those like top bristles of fur,
Yep.
would
Yep.
probably make it a little bit brighter up there too.
Yeah, pull the eye up towards the face, which the teeth do that nicely, where it doesn't feel like it's out of place, and you definitely focus on the face because of the teeth. But I think it's the only thing that keeps you there. And
Right.
once you look at the teeth, you're like, okay, cool, I've done that, and I can leave.
Right.
But yeah, having some more varied interest in the face, maybe some pink in the ears, things of that nature would help kind of make it pop a bit more.
Right. But overall, it's a lot of fun. Even
Yep.
adding something a little bit onto the base, if you wanted to see like this Yeti has done some damage before,
Yep.
adding in skulls and stuff like that
Yep.
would work really
Or a
well.
little bit of blood. Blood would go a long way on this model too. It would pop really nicely, especially against the blue and,
And the snow.
and the white. Yep, with the snow would do so much with it. So yeah.
Very cool though.
Yeah. So thank you, Billy, for entering this model. It was a lot of fun to look over. All right,
We're on number 25.
25.
Frost Giant by Ted Kramer.
All right. I gotta pull it up here.
Yeah, you're all good. So, funny enough, in Titanic category, it was all giants all the time.
All giants all the time.
So we had David's giant, and then we'll see a couple more giants here in a little bit toward the end. But it was a lot of fun. Good.
It's going good.
Just recording some of our thoughts and processes on these models. Nope,
No,
you're
you're
okay.
all good.
You're okay.
You're all good. The camera isn't rolling anymore because it ran out of battery. That's how it
Oh,
goes.
hey, isn't that the way it goes?
Yeah.
You have a power cord over there if you guys need some.
No, it runs off the USB, but we've taxed it.
I hear that.
We're just too pretty. It was just too many people.
It's hard to
I know.
capture that much.
I know,
beauty,
right?
like
Yeah,
this.
yeah. I can't
Yeah.
handle it.
Just couldn't.
Yeah.
All right,
I
so
thought I was going to get away before my eyes.
yeah, no, you don't want that. You don't want that. All right, so Ted, with the Titanic, the Frost Giant here.
Which I think he transposed. It was a WizKids model.
Yes.
Because I think this is actually a fire giant in the WizKids sense,
Oh,
but he
okay.
painted it to be a frost giant, which is cool.
Which I actually really like.
Yeah,
I think the weathering on this is really cool. The color choices are really good. It is really glossy.
yes.
It is very glossy.
That could easily be solved with the trick of doing the matte varnish over top of the
Yep,
gloss,
or a
especially if you're playing with it.
Yep. I do think that the you got to be careful with the pooling at the bottom, because it on the back it looks like kind of weathering. It looks worn, but I think that on the front, because it pooled a little too much, it just kind of stuck around, and it's distracting. So something like Quick Shade does that, where it's very glossy, and then it pools really quickly.
Right.
So if you're using something like Quick Shade, you just have to be careful in cleaning up those that.
Let
that
it sit
pooling.
for like a few seconds or a few minutes, and
Yeah,
then
and
just
wick away.
wick it away.
Yeah. So, but other than that, I like the color choices on this. The red and green is very kind of Germanic in that feeling. I definitely got that sense of Germanic and Northern European style of coloring. Some extra highlighting on the metals would have been really nice and could really easily pull this forward in a nice way.
I also like the color choices they did for the crown.
Yes.
There's that orange with that deep green that just pops.
Yeah, I agree. I think, again, the color choices here are really solid in a very natural, very historic way, without it feeling like it's overdone. It doesn't feel uniform, but it doesn't feel like it's out of place either, which I really enjoy. So I'm excited. I'm hoping that we'll be able to see this one again, because I'd love to get have him bring it back after working on it a bit more and giving some, dulling it down, maybe pulling or removing some of that of the pooling by adding in color back, and then submitting it again and seeing what he's improved.
For sure.
I think it could have some really cool effects. Same with the basing. It goes back to the basing, adding some extra.
Add some rocks.
Rocks, tufts, something to help push it up.
Yeah, and then painting. It's hard to tell from this. Is the base is just painted brown?
It's just an MDF base, so it's just wood.
Yeah, so just painting the edges black or brown or whatever color you want it to be.
Yep, framing in that model, it'll go a long way. So.
All right.
Well, thank you, Ted, for entering that in.
We're on another Philip Cox with Wizard on Pegasus.
This base was phenomenal.
We love the base.
It was so cool. It was,
and the horse was the Pegasus was also really well done too. We wish there would be a little bit more highlighting on the Pegasus, but overall, like, the cream color of it is really, really nice. The face isn't fully painted though. That's something that we noticed.
The model itself, it isn't fully painted, which pulled it down a fair bit on us judging it. But from like an overall standpoint, it is a really good position to be in to expand on, because the idea is there.
Right.
The concept of what you're going for is there, and I think that that's important. But it needed more, because I feel that it doesn't.
It really just needs more highlights.
Yeah, it needs highlights and it needs some shadows, especially on the skin tones. It's all just one color. From 5 feet, it looks great. It really captures what I'm expecting that you're wanting to go for, but as soon as you get up closer to it, it needs more.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
That's a struggle with anything that's going to be high detail, and for a gaming piece. So.
Right. But we were ecstatic about the base. The base was awesome.
It really stood out and above.
Yeah.
But it really stood out for against some of the other entries as well. So thank you for going the extra mile on the base.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you for entering in such a unique model.
Right.
It did turn heads. That was for sure.
All right, we are on Goblin Wizard.
Goblin Wizard from Donnie. This is just fun.
Yeah.
It's a fun model. It's fun positioning. It feels dynamic.
It's getting ready to jump off the top of a mountain or cast some sort of spell on top of somebody.
Hooray! It's doing its thing. Overall, the color choices here are really solid. It's just contrasted.
Yeah, and pooling, shade pooling, and making sure that we're not over pooling in certain spots.
Yeah. So it is. I want to say it's just contrast paint on there. So making sure that whenever you're using contrast, going back and highlighting and applying contrast is a great way to get, 80% of the basing done, so that you can build off of it from detail work. So you can save all that time and use it elsewhere. Because if you don't, then you can do so much more with it if you use that time that you've saved to apply it to details and other aspects to the model. That I don't know. I heard it from a YouTuber. I think it was Kenny Bechet. He was like the reason that he uses an airbrush is not. It doesn't speed up the overall. It speeds up the overall process, but it gets rid of a bunch of the boring things that take up a ton of time but don't add detail. And so he viewed it as
glazing.
Yeah. So I have 20 hours into a model. I could either spend 10 of them painting the base tones and everything like that and getting it all done, and then using another 10 for detail work, or I spend an hour airbrushing, and then I now have 19 hours to work on the rest of the details.
Right.
And I thought that was a really applicable thing for something like contrast or dry brushing or anything that's like I can speed up my process to get something done. It doesn't remove time, it just gives you time elsewhere.
Right. And that's fair. Yeah, in all honesty, it's just adding in those highlights again and going back over with your mid-tone and your highlight color.
Yeah, exactly. I think that it's a good start to what the model needs to be, more than anything. So,
For sure.
but yeah, Donnie, thank you so much for entering this in. It was a pleasure to see you.
We'll see another one from him later.
Oh, will we?
Yeah, we will.
Oh, okay.
So our next one is the Forest Warden.
I picked the wrong model.
The wrong
scene. There we go. Look at him.
Hey,
Mushroom
Forest Warden.
Man. Mushroom Man.
Mushroom Man. All right. Fun model.
Fun model. A fun guy.
Almost a fun guy.
Almost a fun
With
guy.
a fun gal.
Oof. We are trapped here forever and need to go home.
I love the different, like the contrasting colors on his arms with the mushroom and the like woodish, like white mycelium growing off of the wood.
Yes, I think the color choices here are really solid. It's not your typical red mushroom cap with white stalk.
White spots.
Yeah, white spots. It has a very lived-in world kind of coloring to it, where it's growing off of a tree and it's made of mushroom, and I like the overall tone of it. Even the transitions that he has between the hands and the arms, and the arms to the chest, I think are really solid. I really like that.
I agree. The thing that really kind of pulls it down is the glossiness of the overwashedness of the body, the main central body, which bring your mid-tone back.
Yep.
Just do some specific specular highlights over top of the highest points of those things. Change that in an instant.
Yep, exactly. And this is a lot of, because it's heavily washed, you lose some of that extra highlighting. But it also, it washes out, it removes a bunch of the color that you want. So yeah, going back over with the initial color would do wonders for this. Or I think this is a lot of contrast paints. So going over with a similar color tone that you have from, like this yellowish, yellowish white, you could go back with a dry brush of like ice yellow mixed with brown and really pop it up. Without removing that initial kind of tones that you have. So because I think the overall idea is solid, but it's just popping up those highlights, popping up the going from that wash state.
Right.
So.
Yeah, but overall a fun model. The basing was fun.
Yeah, I like that you framed it in nicely. So the basing. Actually, I want to take a moment and speak to the basing. The basing is really good on this.
Yes.
It has a nice green that contrasts well against the yellow and the white, and it's not that it necessarily stands out, but it definitely helps the model feel different than the surrounding area around it, and I thought that was really good.
I also it looks like he might have added like battle mire or something on the end of this trees that he's holding as a club.
Oh yeah, a
Just-
little bit of mud.
Yeah, just to
Yeah.
add that texture, that extra texture.
Yeah, I think that that's huge for it. So, yeah,
Very cool.
I really appreciated this model. So thank you very much.
Thank you for entering that one in, Sam.
Yeah. Next
Got
we
another
have
Phil.
Oigre.
Ogre Palace Guard.
Yeah, these are cool.
Fun.
So Philip did a great job on these being having a like a stonework feel, a regal stone feel to them, without them feeling like they're just flat gray.
Right.
And the differentiation between the gray stone and the metal was really well done as well.
Well, and adding that glow onto the chest,
Yep.
just light glow. It didn't need to be too big, which he did great on.
Yes.
And just making it cohesive, like the big stone golem actually is part of the Palace Guard. Like it
Yes.
it doesn't stand out from all the other rest of them. As a unit, it works together.
Yeah, I never felt like looking at this model, or this unit, that the golem was anything but part of the unit, and it could have really easily been a different direction because he pulled the cohesive colors from like the cloaks and things into the the cloaks and armor of the golem. So it feels like they're a cohesive fighting force rather than it being completely separate.
Right.
Same with the basing. This is very similar to the basing on the Pegasus, and it really shows. It really shows that the quality is there. That he knows how to frame in basing and making a scene pop. There's nice stone elements and flocking. There's areas of mud and flowers, so that you have something to look at every single time that you go back to the base.
Right. It's very cool, though.
Yeah. Like I think it carries through with some of the improvements that we've talked about in other areas for these models. So, but yeah, I love what he's going with this and where he's going with it. So
I agree.
what he has done with it and where he's going.
Yep. Very cool.
Very, very cool. So thank you, Philip.
All right. Next, we have the +2 army tournament points, which is Patrick's.
Patrick. Okay. So a little bit of background with this. As we mentioned before, the Kings of War guys. Thank you, Chris, for who's running Kings of War, for making it was 2 extra points if they entered in a model into the painting competition, which I am not above bribing people for entering into the painting competition, because hey, sometimes that's all it takes is being thrown in when you don't necessarily think you're good enough, but hey, 2 points is 2 points.
Right. And sometimes you might get a win out of it.
Yeah, you might get a win out of it. And so this was, because 2 points was 2 points, there were a lot of entries, and I really did appreciate that. So
Yeah.
Patrick was able to get this in. He's entered into the competition before. I know he's not that big of a painter, but I thought that this was a really fun piece. He knows how to frame a piece in place. And
Adding in the grass tufts
Yeah.
and
I think the grass tufts themselves are what really set this model above, is because the vibrancy that the grass has against kind of the browns and darker tones that the rest of the model has, it makes it pop.
I agree.
I want more highlighting
Yes.
overall.
Especially like on the cloak and then the skin tone of the orc himself.
Yeah.
Like right now it just reads a lot of metal and a lot of
Yes.
browns.
A lot of metal, a lot of browns. Even simple dry brushing. It has some overwash spots. It has some of those spots that are pooled, but it's not many.
No.
This feels more classic pin wash more than it does just overwashed. So I think that's a benefit for in Patrick's court here. But just even going back and doing some simple dry brushing or layering up those metals or of those browns would go a long way to making this really pop.
I would agree.
So, and hey, even a little bit of blood
Sure.
on the weapons.
Not
could
too
go-
much.
Not too much. Doesn't need a lot, but just enough.
Just a bit.
Just a bit. A push.
A touche.
So.
Touche.
Yeah, so thank you, Patrick, for entering this in, and he's a returning member. He's a returning person to the competition.
To the
so,
Dwarven Axe.
to the Dwarven Axe overall. So
All right. Next up, number 31, we have Eric with the female Dwarf Knight Champion.
ooh. Sorry, I'm
No, you're okay.
responding to a text from my wife.
My wife.
I gotta.
Pick up food.
I don't know. I don't think so yet, but
Okay.
either way. So
Good color choice palette, I felt like.
yeah. Again, this is 2 points right here.
Yep.
These are the 2 points. But overall, a really good, like you said, good color palette. Teal and golds never go wrong.
No.
So, what other thoughts do you have on it? I'm gonna transit. to
Teal
the
and
other.
gold's always good. It was a little overwashed,
Mm-hmm.
specifically on like the boar that the dwarf is riding. I also would have loved to see more attention coming down to the dwarf rider's face,
Okay.
just to get that initial movement in looking at the model. Because the big thing right now, like I get my centralized focus does go up toward the face, mostly because of the blue background.
Yeah. It frames it nicely, and having something more to it would be beneficial.
Correct. I thought the metallics were pretty good.
They're pretty good, but they need more definition.
Right.
Now it feels very flat, one tone, and Eric did a good job of making sure that the it wasn't like splashed all around or that there was overcorrection, but it definitely had. What's going on? Yeah, we're talking. We're on stream right now. Yeah. What's up? Yeah, we ran out of models. Gave them all away.
They all went for sale.
Yeah.
No, they did not go for sale. They all returned back to their proper owners.
Yeah, have fun. Sorry about that. We're in a lot of ways, though. I think that he did a really good job from a technical level, keeping everything in place. So there's not a lot of overspray or over brushing.
Right.
But it needs something more. I don't necessarily think that I would recommend a wash. Maybe an oil wash would help pop some areas, but some additional highlights and things.
Well, and then adding more to the base too, I think would add to it.
Yeah, because it feels a little flat just because of the
Right.
base. Yeah, I could jam with that a lot. So even some texture,
Yeah.
framing in that base would be something more. So,
For sure.
but thank you, Eric.
Fun piece to enter.
For a fun piece to look over and check out. So,
All right, we got another returning Dwarven Axe member. I believe.
Yeah.
Jacob with Slorp.
Schlorp,
It's, very Nurgle.
so nurgly.
Nurgle.
This is a fun model.
Oh, it's fun. Really well painted.
Yeah, it's very gross. He definitely leaned into Nurgle a lot, which is cool to
Right.
see. So I greatly enjoyed looking this over and taking a look. I always love a good Nurgle piece because there's so much to look at, and especially if it's painted well, there's a lot to look at. So.
Well, it looked like he even did like a green wash on some of the metallics,
Yeah,
which is really nice.
yeah, just a slight patina on things. There are some aspects, I will say as a critique immediately, there are some areas where I expect a patina or a copper to be, and there's none. And I think that's a missed opportunity. especially on something as pronounced as Nurgle can be. So, because it's a standout piece for sure.
The basing's really nice. All the gross, gooey, ooey, green slime.
Well, and he tied it nicely to the weapons as well for dripping that slime down. So it really feels like it's in scene without it being like directly on the scene, so to speak.
Right.
The skin tones that it has feels gross and kind of decayed.
And sickly.
A bit. Sickly, yeah. Especially from the pipe. Adding in a little bit of like purple or red to some of the irritated areas would be a nice touch on the skin to give it some extra depth. Some of the metallics needs more, especially like the blades and the kind of
the fans.
The fans. They need a bit more, or some rust, something to help them feel more decayed, because the rest of the model has decay, but those feel very clean.
Right.
And so something to help that along would be really nice. But yeah,
But overall, it's really solid.
it's a really solid piece. I know he's been playing. He has an entire army that's in a similar tone, so that, when they're all together, they look really solid. So, but it's a fantastic piece to look at.
Yeah, well done. Jacob did get the win in Vehicle Monster.
Yep.
With this
took
model.
that victory. Took that win.
So well done. We hope to see more of your stuff here next quarter.
Yeah. I'm hoping that if you're able to enter in something else from that army, that one thing that I will say, patina is good. It could use a bit more, and some edge highlighting on that copper. So looking to kind of expanding you have a good sense of where you're at for your copper, but I think expanding it would be really beneficial. So looking at how can I highlight copper, how can I shade copper, and then how can I add, you have patina, and I think you've done a good job of controlling how much patina you have.
Right.
So, but that's
Well
what
done.
That's what I would leave it with.
Well done.
All right, next up.
We have the Nurgle Rhino that was also in the same category, which
Ugh.
this is one of the reasons why it was tough to judge in this category.
Yeah, it was very tough to judge this one. This model was very, very heavily customized in the best way. It had like flocking up top and every which way of intestines and like growing coral. It was a wholly unique feeling model.
Well, and just all the individual like the face and the front of the rhino, just with the tongue and the intestine going in through the mouth and doing all
Right.
that stuff, and all the nurglings just all over in secret spots on this rhino.
There is so much to look at. What I think, if you can, when we upload all of the videos after, definitely go in and like find this and pause on it, and then play and then pause and take a look, because there is so much to look at on this model that it boggles the mind. And I think that it really deserves the time to take a look at it, because it really did strike me as something where you just, every single time I took a look at it, there was something else to look at.
Right.
So the overall like critique that I have on it is it has weathering, it has thought put into it, it has like all of these elements, but I want more highlighting, and in some of the areas it feels like it was just a base coat and a wash, and then I'm going to rely on having other things take over. In the vents of the rhino, like the exhaust vents, it is like the original green. I think that's a miss that he could have added like a black for soot or rust or something that could have tied into the rest of the model, that just got missed. It got overlooked.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, some of the other like metallic elements for the guns also have a similar kind of feeling to them, where they just got a singular pass and then that was it. And I think that that's kind of a miss in application.
It's fair.
Rhinos are notorious for seam lines, paying attention to those as well. But
Yeah. I think also differentiating a little bit of the color of the flocking on the top might have popped it a little bit more too. It doesn't need to be too much brighter, but maybe just a little bit.
a touch of yellow
Yeah.
and orange would have helped.
Or even going with some like fungal flowers on the top.
Yeah, yep. Some mushrooms.
Yeah. Might have
got-
been fun.
I like the longer grass. I think that's a definite push. I really like that as an aspect.
Because it makes it feels like it was just sitting in a swamp or a bog
Yep.
for so long, and then the Nurglings just like, oh, I like this. Let's take it and then make it our own.
Yeah, I think that it adds a storytelling element that is that it would be hard to do elsewhere by just using paint. So yeah, I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think it's a fun model. So thank you, Logan, for entering it, and I hope to see more from you in the future
Yeah.
at other events.
All right. Next entry is Hellstrike Manticore by
Yeah.
Terry Erickson.
So Terry actually came back and he wanted some critiques on, like, just in person on getting back some information. So I'm going to share those here as well. But first and foremost, it's a really cool model, and he actually said that he machined the acrylic underneath of it
Okay.
to like a ridiculous degree, where it's like it perfectly fits into some area that I'm sure is lost on me, but impressive nonetheless. So,
Very
thoughts
cool.
on this one? Once you can see it a little more, I'm sorry.
I can still kind of see it. The color choices are really nice. The red versus the green wings, and then the silver metallics are really decent. I think for me, it's almost too much silver, or two different silver colors that are too close in color with the Manticore versus the actual rider.
Yeah.
I think that's what kind of detracts it, and it's also pretty glossy.
It is.
Which, if you wanted to keep your metallics glossy, you can. You just might need to put some putty over it and then do your matte varnish on the other parts that should stay matte.
Yeah. The one of the things that he was asking about was the different colors, and because there's a green and there's a red and there's an orange, which do not work well together typically. But I was saying that it's a Manticore.
Right.
It should feel kind of thrown together. It's an amalgamation. It can be a little weird.
Right.
But I think you're right. If you had more of a differentiation with other colors, other other applications of like texture and metallics, it would work better. And then adding highlights. I think highlights on this are extra special.
Right.
And I know that I told him that originally as well. So.
For sure.
But like a great start.
Yeah.
Fantastic start to a model, and to hopefully if his entire army is similar to this, I think it probably shines on the table. That's for certain.
I'm sure. And then adding a little bit of basing to that, you're going to be flying high.
Yeah. I mean, his statement was that whatever he puts the base onto, that is his basing, which can be said.
Yeah. But if it's consistent throughout his whole army,
That's
then
true.
that's understandable.
That's true. So, well, thank you, Terry, for your entry. I'm excited to see what more you have in the future. That's for certain.
We got, next up we have another sci-fi single
Lulumore.
by Sean.
Illuminator Zeraz. A Nurgle model.
Necron.
A Necron model. It's been a day. It's been a weekend.
We're getting there. It's been great though.
It has been. I'm tired. It's the end of the con. Everyone. You can definitely tell that everybody's been putting in the extra time.
Yep.
So.
Metallics are very consistent on this model.
Yes. I love the color palette that he had chosen for it. It feels in universe, and
I also like
really
the use
cool.
of his red blade and then having red elsewhere in the model for his cabling, so it makes it consistent.
Yep. Yeah, it definitely feels like it's part of the same model. The pink from like the dude getting ripped apart is a little too same. It needs to be a little bit more either vivid or popping or purple. Something that's differentiated from the red. Or even if it was started as a color and then transitioned to pink, that could work as well. That is the main thing that I've been drawn to, is the pink that he has for like the dude getting ripped apart, because I think that it's a slight miss and it could easily expand. But the blade has a bunch of the blade has a bunch of different details on it too. It has like a lightning effect on it. That's really cool. The metallics, like you said, are really well done.
I wish there was a little bit more brightness to the blades of the red.
Yeah.
To make it a little bit more different from the cabling.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it doesn't need too much more, because otherwise you're going to be running into pink territory, and you don't want pink.
Yeah. It needs some.
Like, even if you want to do a white edge highlight,
Yeah.
that would boost that up a lot.
Yeah. It needs something to make it pop more. Even adding in some more yellow into your red and then edge highlighting, it'll help, because while it's orange, against the red, it'll read more like a bright red. But if you don't have it, it just feels kind of like the power blade that you have is the same color as the cable, which is
Right.
Yeah. It doesn't read nearly as well as you want it to be. So, but copper.
Yes.
The copper. If you want, I would encourage you to do like a patina. Get some of that kind of blue green in here. Make sure it's watered down.
Yeah, you don't
want it strong.
otherwise it just looks like you just painted it on.
Yeah.
So water it down, let it dry.
Yep.
If you feel like it needs to be a little bit brighter, just go back over it again.
Yep. You could definitely highlight some of this metallic and make it pop a bit more and really make it sing. So.
I've been doing a lot of verdigris recently, and I've been learning a lot about verdigris and rusting.
It's also really difficult to do.
Right.
Because verdigris can really overpower a model. It can overpower really quickly too. And so being careful with it and applying it little bits at a time and layering it can really help drive that, like, I'm building up the weathering.
Aging.
Yeah, the aging process, rather than being like, I slap it on and it's done. No. You take care with it, add it slowly. It'll really sing. So
Awesome.
cool stuff. All right, next up. So
Philip
again, thank you,
Cox.
Sean, for that.
Yes,
Next up, we got another Philip. Philip special. Another giant.
The last two are giants.
They're always giants.
There's always giants around here.
There are.
So Philip actually won or got the Titanic gold.
Yep. This is a really solid model. It's really big.
It's really big.
It's really big.
I like all the colors that he chose to emphasize on the model. I think a lot of it is just trying to push it further by defining things. So
Yes.
The wood door, like maybe adding in some edge highlighting on the wood planks to make it look like it's recently been ripped off.
Yeah.
Just adding in those small extra steps.
Yeah, I think that overall, I like the model, but it does have a washed out quality that it just needs extra highlights on. And that washed out quality it feels dirty in a way that isn't like grimdark or grimy. It just feels kind of, it has smudges on it. If
Right.
that makes sense. So, I fully agree with you where it's like, just boost up some of those colors. It has a ton of color on it. Make it more.
Yep.
Give me more. Give me better highlights on it. You know?
Yep.
I like the basing.
Basing's always fun.
I like the basing a lot. I think my biggest critiques are basically just give me more on colors, give me more on highlights,
Give me the texture.
give me the textures. Yeah, don't be afraid of a sponge.
Yeah.
Sponge, look up how to use a sponge on miniature painting. It'll change a ton of stuff for texture, or like skin tone. It's really good for applying skin. Holy crap, is it good for applying skin? Because you can just highlight and build that lighting up. So be aware of your lighting and your highlights. So
But overall, like a really good gaming piece.
yes.
It was fun to see it. It was, like I said, it was the whole Titanic category this time around was just fun to see. Just all of it being giants.
Yep. All of it being
There's
giants.
no robots. There's nothing like that.
Nope.
It was just all giants,
Just all giants all the time.
and that was fun.
Yeah. I overall, this has been probably one of the few Dwarven Axes where Sci-Fi Single hasn't like dominated everything by being robots and space marines and things.
Right.
So it was really a unique kind of feeling to come to a ton of giants instead of knights or instead of big robots.
Right.
So, but yeah, fantastic work. Thank you, Philip.
Thank you, Philip.
Yeah, for
Congratulations on your win there.
Yeah, congrats. All right.
Last but certainly not least,
Last but certainly not least,
we got Donnie with his giant.
his giant. So this was fun.
Yeah.
I noticed this afterwards. It has a toy cannon strapped to its back with some twine. So cool. Such a cool way of adding like an element without it feeling out of place. Mm-hmm. Loved it.
It was heavily washed.
Yes. Yep. Going back with your original color and highlighting, or bringing it back up after you've washed, giving some additional highlights. All of those things that we've said before, and we'll say again on this one. It just needs that extra bit. You're at a good starting point.
Yes.
So
Yeah, just adding in those highlights. I thought the gold cannon was very well done.
Yeah, the gold cannon actually is really well done. It pops nicely without it being like over. It has wash on it, but it's not like overwhelming.
Right.
So, which
But
I think
overall,
is
it's fun.
yeah, overall it's fun. I think, again, going back and adding in those highlights, adding in the details, adding in the edge highlighting, you're definitely gonna make this thing pop in little to no time at all.
Yeah.
So
Bringing back those mid-tones for the skin and
Yep.
stuff like that.
Yep.
Even, like you said, doing sponging,
yep,
that helps
yeah,
immensely.
Exactly. Yeah,
So-
it does. So, and then rim your base.
Yep.
I think as soon as you frame this one in a bit more, it'll look really, really good. So, yeah,
Yeah, very cool.
yeah, very, very cool.
Nice job, Donnie.
All right. Well, I don't have us coming back to us the judges for us our
Rip
face.
camera.
Yeah, rip camera.